says there's no final decision to put tariffs on films made outside the U.S. after President Trump suggested a 100% tariff on foreign-made films. A White House spokesperson says they're exploring all options. This is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent defends the overall Trump tariff strategy to businesses at a global conference.
Tariffs are engineered to encourage companies like yours to invest directly in the United States. Hire your workers here. Build your factories here. Make your products here. You'll be glad you did.
And he says that, combined with tax cuts and deregulation, will help drive economic growth. Citigroup CEO Jane Fraser telling the same conference most of the banking giant's clients can absorb some tariffs on trading partners, but she says most companies are in limbo, holding off on investments and hiring until there's more clarity, and warning that pause will impact demand and the economy. The Trump administration is offering immigrants who are in the U.S. illegally travel assistance and a $1,000 stipend if they self-deport to their home countries.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says self-deportation is the safest option for law enforcement, and the stipends will save taxpayer money, saying it currently costs more than $17,000 to arrest, detain, and remove an undocumented immigrant.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The new stipend is the latest DHS effort to encourage self-deportation using the CBP Home app. There's a new legal challenge over the plan to fire thousands of Health and Human Services employees, shutting down entire agencies within the department under a consolidation announced by Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in March. 19 Democrat-led states plus D.C. argue in a federal lawsuit that cuts would strip HHS of resources needed to do its job and would be unconstitutional. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kellwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a better offer. The brand new free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan for $35 a month. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Still dealing with a bit of a changeable sky, a mix of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. Any showers should stay just to our south, but it's cool, 64. Chilly tonight, 46 for the low, dropping into the 50s quickly this evening. Partly cloudy skies. Tuesday, sunshine, beautiful Tuesday afternoon, 73, but clouds and showers are back on Wednesday, 68. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
You know how you always want to know about everyone else's money? On the podcast, What We Spend, guests will, for 1 week, tell us everything they spend their money on.
My son slammed $6 worth of blueberries in 5 minutes.
And everything that makes them feel.
I want to own a house. I want to have a child. But this morning, I really wanted a coffee.
Because at the end of the day, money is always about more than your balance. Listen to and follow What We Spend, an Odyssey original podcast. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
May is a great time to exercise your Second Amendment rights at the Range St. Louis West. If you're a member this month, they're going to double the discount on firearms from 5 to 10%. Membership has its privileges, and accessories are always 10% off, ammo 10% off, classes 15% off. You get free lanes and free rentals with over 120 firearms on the range. Check them out at 14803 Manchester Road or shop online at therangestl.com.
Imagine this, a summer evening, relaxing under a beautiful porch overhang, hosting your friends on a composite deck, or enjoying a bug-free breeze in a screened room. That sounds dreamy, right? Hi, it's Kim, and that dream can be your reality with Lakeside Renovation and Design because they specialize in creating outdoor spaces that make your backyard the go-to spot for family and friends. And with their attention to detail and the high-quality materials they use, you'll have a space that lasts for years. Visit lakesiderd.com today to get started on your outdoor oasis.
Are you looking for an easy way to get a daily detox? Active Liver is the easy way to get a daily detox. To keep you healthy and feeling your best, you can find Active Liver in the vitamin aisle at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I've been with the president recently. I've watched him in these meetings. I've seen the way things are working. There is no chaos. But I can tell you this, unlike in the administration you work for, there's no doubt who's running the country, and it's Donald Trump.
Let me just tell you on the chaos. You never want to have chaos in your national security team. And that's what's happening right now. You have chaos at the Pentagon. You have had Hexet's own advisors say that. You have a National Security Council who is decimated because of Laura Loomer. You have various agencies where they have fired career professionals all throughout the national security apparatus.
Bureaucrats.
You know what I mean? We're in a heightened threat environment, Scott.
Exactly.
We are in a very, and we cannot have this type of chaos in our national security.
Chaos. Well,
there's a heightened threat environment.
Hold on. There's a lot of drama.
So Scott Jennings on CNN there talking to the panel. And if you didn't see the rally that took place in Michigan earlier, I guess it would have been Tuesday when that rally took place, then you probably didn't get to hear Scott Jennings go on the stage. Trump calls him on stage. And I thought to myself, I don't know if CNN's going to really like Scott Jennings coming up on the stage at a rally. That might seem a little unbecoming maybe. And it didn't become a problem at all. They act like there's something going on between the Trump administration and Scott Jennings. Like maybe there's some sort of position that's being cultivated for Scott Jennings. I think Carolyn Leavitt's doing a fantastic job, but Scott Jennings as a press secretary would be just really, really funny. And I wouldn't also put it past the Trump administration to create another press secretary sort of position, maybe a traveling press secretary or somebody who could split the job with Carolyn Leavitt if they were in lockstep with Carolyn Leavitt to be another messenger of the Trump administration. And Scott, I can't think of a better person out there right now than Scott Jennings to joyfully present the message of the Trump administration without fear of friend or foe who would like to ask him a question for clarification or to push back, because he does such a great job on CNN. But what you hear him saying there is that, no, there's not any chaos in the Trump administration at this point. And I really honestly think this might be the most terrifying thing for people on the left, the super crazy activist left, to hear that, no, this is what complete and total in control looks like in the Trump administration. They made sweeping promises during the campaign The president and then candidate Donald Trump made significant transformational promises and commitments to the American people should he get elected, that there really wasn't going to be a corner of the bureaucratic government, the swamp, that would go untouched in his time in office should he be elected. So naturally, you know, if you look at what Joe Biden promised when he came into office, he was supposed to be the uniter in chief. He was supposed to be the adult in the room. He had so much experience because he was old. He had so much experience in Washington, D.C. that he was going to go in there and just bring some sanity and some calm and some maybe even predictability to the White House once again. And, you know, the breakneck pace of this Trump administration, the Biden administration, pales in comparison to what the Donald Trump administration is being able to do in just about 5, 6, 7 days. The idea that the Trump administration is not flying by the seat of its pants, is organized with people in places and the legal defense in place going into these executive orders that they're looking to codify through congressional approval, that's a really frightening thought. And it's very difficult to sell the idea of an orderly process to whatever the Trump doctrine is, on whichever aisle you want to walk down, what if it's foreign or domestic, to know that the Donald Trump administration came in with the very best of the best that they could assemble to get all of the things done that they promised the American people. They came prepared. They did their homework. They understood said assignment. And now they're producing. And that's very, very scary just 100 days into an administration for the people on the panel with Scott Jennings on CNN. I understand that. This desperation to make Pete Hegseth look like some sort of enemy of the state and to try to paint Donald Trump as incompetent for choosing him. It seems as though the effort that's being put into trying to criticize and make this thing happen against Pete Hegseth, I just figure there are probably places in the Trump administration that you could pick on that would get you more mileage out of the effort you're trying to put into removing Pete Hegseth from that position. Unless, of course, the thing that he is doing is a direct threat to the people who benefit from the status quo. It sounds to me like Pete Hegseth wants to go into wars that they have to be in and win them with the least amount of American death, the least amount of danger, and the least amount of loss to the American people as possible. So win the war decidedly, quickly, securely, and only the ones that we absolutely have to be in. Well, I don't know anything about anything when it comes to these things. I only know what a lot of people talk about, what a lot of people are consistently trying to shine a spotlight on, which is like War Inc., the industry that makes a lot of money manufacturing and selling bullets, and that the longer the wars go on, the more money certain people make. I don't know. Is Pete Hegseth a threat to that? Maybe. It seems as though trying to make Pete Hegseth the fall guy for the Trump administration, that's not the message to me that translates to voters. Pete Hegseth falling flat on his face, if he were to do that, and he has not at all yet, Pete Hegseth falling flat on his face is not going to make people who voted for Donald Trump go, well, I can't support this any longer. I can't support the Republican Party any longer. The persuasion to get Pete Hegseth out of there, to me, doesn't really seem, that the end game there doesn't seem political. It doesn't seem like a vote getter. It seems more like an ideology conflict that's getting a little too close to the target for the people who are opposed to him. Now, there are other things that can be criticized if you were, of a different ideology of the Trump administration that might persuade people to vote against the Republicans the next time around, that might persuade people to support this president less than maybe they did in November of last year. But I not only don't see a concise message from the Democrats as to what we would be supporting instead of the Trump administration, even the things that they're criticizing him on, they don't seem to be things that American voters, American taxpayers are going to look at and go, well, obviously the other side has their act together on this. So they sow these ideas of chaos and they try to pitch character flaws for Donald Trump. Listen, we know that he has character flaws, and we know that Donald Trump would consider the things that you think are his character flaws part of his eclectic personality. He would consider them an asset. He feels good about what he's doing. He's doing what he promised he would do. And the American people are looking at this right now and having to ask themselves that question or answer this question that's being asked by the left all the time. Did you vote for this? That's the YouTube poll for today. We're asking you this because it continues to pop up on social media timelines everywhere from people who are deeply rooted in the progressive left. And they'll pop something up like today's acknowledgement of how we're going to do deportations a little bit differently than they have done before. Now, Bill Malugin, who I assume in 10 years is going to be sitting behind an anchor desk somewhere and probably one of the lead anchors at Fox News. He has done such a good job when it comes to bringing the actual story to what's going on the southern border. I think that he has really sown for himself a very strong future. He's giving this report about the Trump administration's new take on deportations. And I think that the Trump administration makes some sense when they go about this.
So Fox News can report exclusively that DHS will announce today that they're going to start paying for the commercial flights of illegal aliens who self-deport from the U.S. And on top of that, they're going to pay them an additional $1,000 stipend once they're confirmed to have left the country. Now, DHS says doing this is going to be significantly cheaper for the American taxpayer. They tell us that right now it costs on average about $17,000 to arrest, detain, and deport someone. They say paying for self-deportations and the stipend will only cost about $4,500 per person. That's about 70% cheaper. Aliens are going to have to register to self-deport on the new CBP Home app to access that DHS financial assistance, as well as announce their intent to leave the country. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem tells Fox in part, quote, "If you are here illegally, self-deportation is the best, safest, and most cost-effective way to leave the United States to avoid arrest." In the meantime, here in the sanctuary city of Los Angeles, ICE confirms to Fox News that 3 suspects arrested in connection with the home invasion murder of a man in the Woodland Hills neighborhood last Sunday are all in the U.S. illegally.
So Bill Malugin, when he's delivering this report, mentions that the new plan to encourage people to self-deport through the app that they have, is it CBP Home, I think, instead of One? They're saying, do this yourself. We'll put you on a plane, a commercial flight, back to your country of origin. We'll pay for it and we'll send you with $1,000. I remember Eric Adams. Didn't the mayor of New York start providing cash handouts to illegal immigrants that were being shipped there? I think the number in my head was $900, but it might have been more than that. And they were providing cash for them. And it was I think it was maybe to find their own housing. I'd have to look up the story, but I remember not loving the idea that we were just like handing out cash to people. But the difference between that story in New York City and this story right now is this is to get them to deport. This isn't to get them to the next month where you have to go and do the exact same thing again. If the net savings on this is 70%, Ryan, don't you think that this is a businessman's deal to say, how do we save the American people money while ultimately we're getting what we want, which is these people to go back where they came from, to do so on their own accord. And then maybe there might be a system in the future that brings them back.
It's absolutely a business decision. Whether or not it to me, this one feels a little bit less like Trump than usual, though, even though it's a business decision, because it creates the incentive that, oh, if I wait a little bit longer, maybe they'd go up a little bit more.
That's how you think people would look at it?
That's how I look at it, is that it's creating incentives for people like the vaccinations. Well, if I wait another month, maybe they'll give me 5 boxes of Twinkies and $20.
Oh my gosh. I don't take it in at all like that. I think it's like, I better hurry up and get this while the getting's good, because the other thing that the really valuable thing about putting yourself on this app is that you are then deprioritized to the bottom of the list of who would be sought out for deportation. Brad, do you think that would you look at it like Ryan does?
No.
Like, I'm going to hold this out and I'm going to get a better deal for me.
No, because this is different than the COVID policy, because on the other side of this, you have Tom Homan and his crew packing people up, sending them to El Salvador, and just wrapping people up in huge raids, in cuffs, posting their pictures, letting everybody know what's happening. And then the other side of that is if you get caught in a raid, you go to the end of the line, and actually you may be completely banned from
you're blacklisted. You're done.
You can't come back. So your options are, maybe I take some money, or maybe I get deported and never come back, or I take some money and I leave, and then I can get in there and do it the right way.
Imagine waiting around for $1,500 and getting deported by ICE instead, and never I don't think that's the deal that these people are making, but maybe Ryan's right. We'll see. We want to know what you think about whether or not you voted for this. Now, of course, there are several options that you can weigh in here on today's YouTube live chat poll. Have you heard anyone? Have any of your lefty friends sent you an article and be like, did you really vote for this? Well, we want to know what you think. Your options for today are, yes, this is what you voted for. No, you didn't vote for Trump. So that's your yes, I voted for Trump and I like it. And no, I didn't vote for Trump at all. But then we have two more qualified ones. The answer would be no, you voted for Trump, but you don't like it. Or no, you didn't vote for Trump, but you were happy. Ethan encouraged me to add that last one, and I think that's a good one as well. So come to the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. It's in the live chat of today's live broadcast. And tell us, did you really vote for this? We'd love to hear from you. When we come back, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, we're going to talk to the general about the minerals deal that was secured, signed, and delivered, about that meeting that took place in the Vatican, correct? Is that where it was? The meeting with the two chairs and the two leaders and no staffers, no handlers, no nothing. Donald Trump, Vladimir Zelensky, one-on-one, and a minerals deal with Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg. Next.
Listening to the Annie Fry Show.
Fireball.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The Retirement Advisory Group, you find them online at retirementkey.com. You can also find them at the Frontenac Hilton Tuesday, May 20th, not next Tuesday, but Tuesday, May 20th. And the event starts at 6:30 p.m. I get there at about 6 o'clock. Mark Cox will be there as well. Mark Reardon hurries over from his show. And we try to meet each and every one of you who have reserved your spot in that room to learn about how Thomas Helbig and Bob and Tammy Kershaw can help protect your retirement. If you'd like to know why linking to the market is much safer than owning the market, you need to come to this event. It doesn't cost you anything. There are snacks, and you do need to reserve your spot so that we have a room ready to fit the size of the group. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. The website is retirementkey.com, and you can log on to there to see this information as well. But join me Tuesday, May 20th at the Frontenac Hilton. Event starts at 6:30. If you'd like to hang out for a little bit beforehand, I'll be there starting at 6. Would love to see you. retirementkey.com.
There's something new taking shape in downtown St. Louis, an experience unlike anything else in sports. From the hustle on the pitch to all the flags and smoke and 22,000 fans chanting STL in unison throughout Energizer Park. This is more than just a game. This is St. Louis City Soccer. Learn more at stlcitysc.com/tickets. And experience it now.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. Protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Zero Res, and let me give you a little incentive and inspiration to get your home really, really clean the right way. And it's not just about the carpet cleaning, although that's what they really specialize in. They're professional carpet cleaners. They've been in St. Louis and in Missouri for a long time, but Zero Res can handle every surface in your home. Carpets, tile and grout, hardwood, laminate, stone, upholstery, rugs, and air ducts. And you know Zero Res as the zero residue carpet cleaners that don't leave behind any of the dirt attracting soaps and chemicals that other carpet cleaners use. Don't risk the other guys. Don't do DIY. I've made that mistake. Your carpets are going to be worse off in the long run. So this month, take advantage of a great offer. Get 3 rooms, Zero Resified from St. Louis's #1 carpet and air duct cleaners, starting at $129, and take take $75 off your air duct cleaning package. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy, and clean air. Call Zero Res right now, 314-474-2020. You can also book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Say you want the Mark Reardon or the 97.1 FM Talk Special. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save now with 2024 pricing and Carrier Cool Cash rebates up to $1,700 on a new HVAC system. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So you think you're close to a deal? What will Russia have to give up? Because Ukraine, there's been discussions they will have to give up some of the land.
Russia will have to give up all of
illegally
Ukraine because that's what they want.
all of Ukraine, meaning they wouldn't keep any of the land that they've
No.
claimed.
Russia would have to give up all of Ukraine because what Russia wants is all of Ukraine. And if I didn't get involved, they would be fighting right now for all of Ukraine. Russia doesn't want the strip that they have now. Russia wants all of Ukraine. And if it weren't me, they would keep going. Do you know that the European Union leaders have asked me to call Putin so many times because he doesn't return their phone call?
President Trump speaking on this Meet the Press exclusive interview about what the actual goal here for Putin and for the Russians is regarding their pursuit of taking that country. And the question is, are we going to be able to get a deal where this war ends? We talked to somebody who certainly is at the epicenter of trying to make peace happen. And that's our friend, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, the assistant to the president and special presidential envoy for Ukraine. General, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you here.
Hey, Annie, thanks for having me. Always good to be with you. What's up?
So talk to me about what the president said last night. He's saying that he's pushing Russia back against taking the entire country of Ukraine. Is Russia working with the United States to get a deal done, a peace deal done with Ukraine at all? Or is there any cooperation?
Well, it's limited. By the way, before I go, the president's absolutely right. This war wasn't started on his watch. He's trying to finish this thing up. We've got the Ukrainians working with the European Union and working with what we call the E3, with the Brits, the French, and the Germans in a pretty good position. And we know where they want to go, what we call a term sheet. Not so much with the Russians. The real impediment to progress are the Russians right now and getting to a peace effort. You know, the war is at a stalemate. And, and what I mean by a stalemate is, when Putin keeps saying he's winning, no, he's not. If he was winning, he'd be in Kyiv. He'd be on the western part of the Dnieper River, which is a major obstacle. He'd be in Odessa. And the advances the Russian troops are making are measured in meters, not in miles. And the Ukrainians have got themselves in a pretty good set defensive position right now. So it's time for them to come to the table and say, this is as far as it goes. This is what we need to have peace. The president's absolutely right. He talks about stop the killing. What we want today, and the Ukrainians are willing to do that today, is a comprehensive defined as air, sea, land, and infrastructure, a comprehensive ceasefire for a minimum period of 30 days, which can be extended. Ukrainians are willing to do that today. The Russians, not so much. So we need to get to the Russians in that position where they're willing to go to a ceasefire, not a 3-day ceasefire, but a 30-day ceasefire. And then you can start talking about the other issues that need to be brought up. But that's where the president comes from in stopping the killings. He's absolutely right. And the maximalist goals that Putin has, he's not going to achieve them. He can talk about it all he wants. It's not going to happen.
We're speaking with General Keith Kellogg here, the assistant to the president and special presidential envoy for Ukraine. We've got the President Trump, who's trying to work with a relationship with Vladimir Putin. We also have seen some highs and some lows between President Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky. The blow up in the Oval Office, and then we saw that iconic photo that took place in the Vatican, and then we have a minerals deal that has been signed. Talk to us about the relationship between these two countries, these two men, and where we are right now in the strength of that relationship.
Well, I think it's a good relationship, Annie. I think that not only the iconic picture that we talked about him being in the Vatican in Rome just recently, but the fact that they got together one-on-one and were able to talk it without a crowd being around him. And he's recovered from the issue we had in the Oval Office. And signing the minerals deal is a security deal into itself as well. And I think what you see right now is this relationship starting to develop. Ukrainians, people forget how big Ukraine is. Ukraine is the third largest geographically, the third largest country in the European environment today. And they've lost about 20% of their land, but they're willing to fight for their land. In the first UN General Assembly meeting that the president spoke at in his first term, he talked about if countries fight for their sovereignty, we'll be with them. And that's what Ukraine's doing right now. So I think the relationship has developed. It's a good relationship in that regard. And I think what the president is trying to do, I believe, is get the Russians kind of brought back into this large family of nations, which is smart. And he's the only one, as he said last night, he's the only one who can really do it, because Putin won't talk to anybody else. He won't talk to Macron of France. He won't talk to Starmer of Britain. He won't talk to Merz, the new chancellor of Germany. The one guy he talks to is President Trump. And so that's the reason President Trump is so key to this. And I think this will end rapidly once Putin realizes this is as much as he's going to get with a term sheet of what it looks like, and go to the ceasefire, which I think will get extended, and then we can kind of iron out all the other details. But it's going to be up to Putin to do it. But I think the right person to be able to do that is, in fact, President Trump.
We're speaking with General Keith Kellogg right now about the conflict and the war in Ukraine. I hear President Trump, he uses a phrase. He calls Ukraine the apple of his eye, of Vladimir Putin's eye. Can you explain to a lot of the people who have been watching this now for years, manifest in this very, very bloody, awful war in Ukraine, why is Vladimir Putin so willing to sacrifice so much of Russian blood over Ukraine? Why is it the apple of his eye?
Well, I think when you look at Ukraine, he always considers to be part of Russia, and he thinks this goes back to what happened on the rollback of the Soviet Union and the Warsaw Pact, which he believes is the greatest disaster that ever happened to the Soviet Union, was the dissolution of the Soviet Union. And Ukraine's a big part of that, because Ukraine is so valuable. I mean, it's got Black Sea access. It has incredible minerals. The fact is, it's always been a good country. It's more of a warlike country with a Cossack tradition. And I think Putin just wants to have that as a buffer against the other states, be it Germany or be it Poland. And this is a way to create that buffer with Belarus to the north and Ukraine to the south. So this is what he really wants. But honestly, Annie, he's not going to get it. The Ukrainians, he's created an animus with the Ukrainians that will never be changed for generations. So he's never going to be able to acquire all of Ukraine. First of all, he doesn't have the ability to do it. What I mean by that, with the term we use, he doesn't have legs, the logistics to get to the western part of Ukraine. And he can talk about all he wants. It just won't happen. And I mean, it would have happened. It would have happened 2.5 years ago. It didn't happen at all. And now he's stuck in a stalemate. We're into our 4th year of war. So I think, Putin sees that as a rollback against the West. It gives him a buffer against the West. It's a pretty prosperous country. It's like a lot of people forget how important it is for economics of Russia. It's like our Midwest. It's the grain belt of for that part of Europe. It's a grain exporter, and the people are a pretty talented group of people as well.
General Kellogg speaking with us right now, the assistant president to this and special presidential envoy for Ukraine. I'd like to touch a little bit on that minerals deal. It happened. It's a big story, and so many other things are going on. I'd like to talk a little bit more in detail about it. From Fox News, it says the agreement will establish the United States-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund to help accelerate Ukraine's economic recovery. That's according to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. In this minerals deal between Ukraine and the United States, what does the United States get out of the deal, and what does Ukraine get out of the deal?
Yeah, well, first of all, it gives us some economic leverage. It gives us what we call precious metals. I'll give you just one example. For example, we import titanium. They export titanium, which is used in a lot of our microelectronics, and it's a valuable asset to have. So when you look at it, that's the one good part. We get precious metals. The second thing out of it is now we start getting to what we would term a return on investment. Instead of passing money from the American taxpayer, this is a chance for us to recoup some of that money through this precious minerals deal. And I think that's important. The third piece of it is, in fact, it's part of a security deal. I mean, when you've got American investment in the country, then it becomes part of our part of the United States economic reasons for being wherever we're going to be at. And you want that to be part of your security. So I think there's some good advantages that we have. Now, I will tell you what needs to be done first is we need to get our U.S. Geological Service out there to survey it, because the last survey was done by the Soviet Union. So we really don't know what's there full term. But we know there's a lot of precious metals there of all types. And that's one of the reasons we went there. And by the way, the Ukrainians offered that up. This wasn't something we just came up with. It was actually done in partnership with the Ukrainians. They said, hey, look, let's work together on this. It helps you. It helps us as well. And there's some economic advantage, not only for both sides, but also fiscal advantage as well.
General Kellogg, before we let you go, on a broader sense, watching Russia be a bit obstinate in wanting to work on peace, it seems as though peace is not in their mind at all. It doesn't seem like that's what they want to see happen here. A lot of people in the United States of America, of course, are looking at this conflict and knowing of the capabilities of Russia. And I'm just curious if you see in any sense of a timeline, this conflict getting larger, with conflicts taking place in the Middle East, China's special economic interests. Does this conflict bring in frenemies across the country or across the world to Russia to strengthen them, to embolden them to potentially expand this conflict?
Well, and it's a great question, because this is unlike what we saw 4 years ago. What I mean by that is 4 years ago, all these countries were discrete. They were separate. North Korea, China, Iran, and Russia. Now they're all together. The Russians have got security pacts with all three of them, in some type of partnership relations. With the North Koreans, we're providing troops and ammunition as well. That's the reason why you see up to 15 to 20,000 North Korean troops fighting inside Russia against Ukraine because of security pact. The danger of that, of course, is to reverse it. What happens if the North Koreans attack into South Korea? Well, the Russians are obligated to support them with troop levels. The same we go with the Chinese economically, and same with the Iranians as well. So the risk you run into is a wider conflict. I don't think we're going to get there, though. I think what's going to happen, this thing's going to end sooner than you may think it is, which is going to be good. And then we can start, for lack of a better term, picking apart these countries. It's sort of like the game of whack-a-mole, where, in the first administration, if the arcade game, if a mole raised its head, you'd knock it down with a hammer. Now all the moles are up at the same time. We need to pit them apart through economics or through some type of structure that we're going to develop with the North Koreans, as well as the Iranians in the Middle East, and the Chinese as well. And it brings, I always like to say this, it brings the Russians back into the friendly League of Nations. That's what you want to do. And you want to lower the temperature. So is the risk there? Absolutely. And that's one of the things we want to avoid if we all can. And I think that can be done. We're in the fourth year of war, but he's tired of this war. Let's bring it to a close, stop the killing, and, bring some security to that part of the world. Then we can focus on other issues as well.
It's a pleasure to speak with you, as always. General Keith Kellogg with us here. Thank you for your time today, and continue doing what you're doing. And we've got a lot of hope and trust in what's going on right now with this administration, and we're grateful for the inside look.
Thanks, Annie. Thanks for having me. Always great to be with you.
You as well. Bye-bye. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, the assistant to the president and special presidential envoy for Ukraine, on X at General Kellogg. 2 L's, 2 G's in Kellogg. Great conversation there. I don't think I really understood completely the thing that he said there that really pinged my really sense was that the Ukraine minerals deal was Ukraine's idea.
No, I don't know that I realized that either.
Which seems like a big deal.
It does, especially since they've had such a hard time hammering it out. You're like, well, then what's been the problem? Because we came to the table pretty quickly on that.
Well, and I've heard people in the progressive left be like, oh, so we're going to go pillage Ukraine for all that isn't it at all.
The last question you asked, I thought was really interesting because
that was my nice way of saying, are we going to have World War III?
Well, okay.
Just so
but the way he answered it was that it was in the past, it had been like playing whack-a-mole. A problem arises in the world, you knock it down, they just kind of pop up. And now they're all up. And the problem is that they've all kind of joined together in a way. We saw the reports about North Korea joining with
Russia.
They
certainly haven't spoken out against one another.
BRICS and all the economic stuff. So it's almost like the first thing he has to do, Trump, is to have a conscious decoupling of all of these organizations or these nations and their treaties and whatever they have going on together, and then deal with them one at a time.
And you don't even really. This might be the smartest or dumbest thing I've ever said. I don't really know. You don't really need to have good, positive relationships with all of them. You have to have them with the right ones so that the ones who you can't have a good relationship with won't partner with the other one because the other one won't cross the United States.
Which is what's so genius about the way he's doing these tariffs. He's focusing on the nations that will isolate the biggest enemy first. And we don't have those deals yet, but that's who they're talking to right now. India, Japan, South Korea. They're all on the table.
Yeah, you don't need to be BFFs with all of these countries. You just need to know that they can't cross you. So you position yourself so you have the relationships that say, well, if enemy A wants to partner with my neutral to positive side of neutral relationship with country B won't do them any favors because they won't cross the United States. So it doesn't matter if enemy A isn't going to cross the United States because they won't have anybody to help them.
You want to be on good terms with us.
And scary. You want to be scary.
We want to be respected. That's all.
Walk softly.
Carry a big stick.
Yes. Let's take a quick break. Wiggins America when we come back. The Monday Roundup. The stories you might have missed. You won't want to miss what we have coming for you next. On the YouTube live chat poll, did you vote for this? Yes, you voted for this. No, you didn't vote for Trump. Or no, you voted for Trump, but you don't like anything that's happening. Or no, you didn't vote for Trump, but this actually isn't that bad. Anti-Fry YouTube channel. You can go leave your vote right there. And then, of course, leave us a comment. Tell us why you voted the way you did. Doug commented and said, I voted for more than this. I didn't have that as an option, so hopefully that's a yes. And Vicky said, yes, I voted for this. How about you? Wiggins America next.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan, 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. Let's talk about your next home and the weight that closing costs adds to the equation. You're buying your home. You've got a price range in mind of what you can afford responsibly. And so you're negotiating. You find the house. It's like, gosh, this could be your dream home. How do you make yourself the most competitive buyer? Well, it really starts with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. You're going to want to get pre-approved, of course, so that you can know that you can afford the house that you're looking to get. Maybe you can afford more. Maybe you think that maybe what you thought you were able to do, maybe it's a little bit different than that, especially with the low rates that you're going to be able to get with Stewie. Wherever you can qualify, whatever you can qualify for, he's going to be able to get you those as well. But when you use the Bagel Loan, you pay $0 in closing costs. Those burdensome closing costs that hit you at the end that cost thousands of dollars, skip that part with the Bagel Loan, but only at Stewart's American Mortgage. 314-324-4440. Call or text 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Cardinals fans, there are more ways this season to watch your Cardinals on FanDuel Sports Network. For the first time, you can subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network and stream the Cardinals without blackouts. Monthly, seasonal, and annual packages available. Also new this season, you can stream FanDuel Sports Network through Amazon Prime Video with an add-on subscription. As always, you can watch FanDuel Sports Network through TV providers including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. Visit Cardinals.com/TV to learn more.
If you're looking for the best eye care in St. Louis, look no further than the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. Make your appointment today at youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrallNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
If you're the victim of a car accident or suffered a work injury in St. Louis, you want attorneys who live here and work here to handle your case. You want someone who knows St. Louis and is about St. Louis. You want Kaufman Townsley. Call 314-500-5000.
Our question for you today is, did you vote for this? There are a few options. Yes, no, I didn't vote for Trump. No, I voted for Trump, but I don't like this. And no, I didn't vote for Trump, but I'm happy with this. That's the YouTube live chat poll. 4 options. Let us know which one is you, because that question gets asked a lot. 1246. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Congresswoman Ann Wagner.
As we get this big, beautiful bill across the finish line, the House is going to try and do its work over the next several weeks. Then we'll kick it to the Senate. Hopefully by the 4th of July, we'll come to something.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Brother fellas in the back, sweet singers in the front, cruising down the freeway in the hot, hot sun. Suddenly red blue lights flash us from behind. Loud voice booming, please step out onto the line. Ballet bridge words of comfort, Cena just hides her eyes. Policeman taps the shades inside a Chevy 69. How bizarre.
Well, the president from the White House right now is announcing that Washington, D.C. gets the 2027 NFL draft. Stop the presses. I don't care. Do you care?
No.
At all? Brad?
Not at all.
Not really, no.
If we still had the Rams, would you care?
No. Where it is?
Not at all.
No.
Zero.
I mean, I didn't even know that they moved it around.
But I find it interesting that the mayor of Washington, D.C. is there standing next to Trump. And I have a theory that he's just trying to do things in places where people hate him, so they have to come to the White House to accept things. Like the Governor Whitmer, which we never talked about this, manila folder in front of her face is the funniest thing I've ever seen in politics.
It is.
And then the next week, when she is welcoming him to her state because it was some sort of military investment that was being made in Michigan. I don't know, you guys might have talked about this, but he invites her up to the podium to speak, and she is so uncomfortable. And she handled it like a champ, though, because her message was essentially like, oh, wow, I didn't know I was going to speak. I didn't have anything prepared. And then she said something positive about the troops, and she walked away. And I'm like, she's a pro.
Yes. I feel like I just Ed McMahon'd you. Yes, it is true, Annie. But
okay,
it is true because it's so weird watching her. She does not know what to do. She just grins and goes, I'm in a swing state.
Yeah. Well, she probably wants to be the president.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she's trying. I don't know if President Trump and this administration is trying to help Michigan because Michigan really pushed him over the edge to win the presidency. If it's just like a genuine from the heart, listen, I'm here to help all people. Or if he's simultaneously prioritizing this because it could ruin Gretchen Whitmer's career.
Yes.
Like
yes to all.
The art of the deal. Am I right?
Wiggins.
Anyway, that was all to say. Mariel Muriel Bowser standing in shot this entire time up there, and I just think
The mayor of DC.
interesting.
Yeah.
What do you got
Definitely
for
a
us today?
Democrat. I got some really, I would say, most important news you've ever heard, maybe.
Yes. Thanks for the compliment on the first part of the show.
Well, that was implied, but not directly said.
Well, usually you just say it passive aggressively.
So we'll start with this. A Delaware County woman is now in custody after she allegedly defecated on another person's car during a road rage incident that was captured on video.
This came across my feed.
Start from the beginning.
Okay, once
Just
again.
repeat yourself.
A Delaware County woman is now in custody after she allegedly defecated on another person's car during a road rage incident that was captured on video.
I thought that I heard
part.
somewhere in there that you said elderly woman.
No, not elderly. Allegedly.
Okay, that's what I heard.
But, it is on video.
For some reason, I got so hung up on the elderly part that I needed to know. But now that that's not part of the story, it's okay.
I wanted to do a really good amount of research, so I brought audio for this.
Get a big thumbs down from Brad and traffic from that one.
That video, shared thousands of times on Instagram, shows a woman identified Thursday as Christina Salameto walking to another woman's car. The 44-year-old sits on the hood, or not showing the most graphic part of the video, including when she appeared to defecate on the car.
So she got mad.
What's a worse word? What's a worse word? Defecate or poop?
Poop.
I don't know.
Defecate is at least somewhat official.
Yeah, I don't know. It's closer than I think you guys think.
Yeah. I don't how would we measure it?
They're both pretty dang bad.
I'm not at like an 8 on pooping.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the rating I would give it would be.
Yeah. I don't know. The more I think about the word defecate, the more I'm just like, nope, that's not the word either.
I agree. And
how did you preface this segment? Was
most important news that you'll
Okay.
ever hear.
All right. Thank you. Are we done yet?
I can't believe thousands of people shared that. Why would you want that associated with your feed or your timeline whatsoever?
Well,
have you seen the internet?
Well, yeah. Have you ever
with
been
your
on the
own
internet?
page?
What kind of standards are you thinking people are swimming in that cesspool?
I'm not sharing this. This is a woman defecating on someone's car.
This is below me.
Next story, since I played the whip, is that, and I'll just throw this out there just to see if you guys are interested, or I'll move on. Grand Theft Auto is now coming out next year.
Ethan, have you ever played Grand Theft Auto?
I've played it, but I've never owned.
Did you enjoy playing Grand Theft Auto?
That's
a yes.
It was okay.
Brad?
Yes, I've owned it and I play it.
Did you play it still?
No, my Xbox is broke, but I did whenever my Xbox worked. It was a lot of fun.
Have you ever played
I've
it?
never really played it, but I've watched people play it a lot.
How old is that game now? The last one that came out?
GTA 5 came out before the Xbox One came out.
It's like 10 or 15 years. It's like 12 years old.
We had a PS2. I used to play Grand Theft Auto a lot. And then I literally got carjacked in downtown St. Louis, and it just hits different.
Does it?
Mm-hmm. It's a filthy game.
Oh, it's absolutely terrible.
It's just,
and everybody knows it.
are there? I wouldn't be surprised if there are people who poop on your car in Grand Theft Auto.
I don't know, but
if there aren't, there will be. If you said you delayed it,
yeah,
that's why they're like,
ooh, gotta add that.
Gotta add that in.
Well, here,
it'll be the most popular game of all time.
It was supposed to come out in the fall. Now it's coming out next year. I did pull some audio from this story too.
To be able to poop on a car like that was impressive, but it was disgusting at the same sense.
Oh shoot, sorry. That was from the first story again. All right. Well, anyway,
we'll weigh in more on the story at 105 if Steve Moore is otherwise inclined. It'll be at the top of the paper stack that we pull off in case of emergency break glass.
Trump orders 100% tariff on foreign-made movies to save dying Hollywood.
So you got into that, and I was thinking it was B or not the B.
It's not.
This is not the B.
These are all real stories.
100% tariffs on foreign-made movies.
Nobody really knows exactly how he would do that. I'm not sure he knows how.
What's a foreign-made movie?
That's a good question, because is it that it was edited here, written here, well, elsewhere, shot there? Movies are shot all over the place.
You can't, like, if you want, well, I guess you could go to Hawaii. Like, a lot of movies are made in Hawaii to insinuate many tropical places around the world. But there are other places that you would need to go in the world to capture a certain setting. I guess we can only write like American movies now.
Well, that's why nobody really know. And they asked some Hollywood executives to comment, and they're like, "Why we don't know. We have no idea what this means." But Secretary Howard Lutnick has said we're on it. So I guess the details will be figured out.
Don't worry, we don't know right now either, but we will.
That's exactly right. A little bit of audio from this one too.
Oh God.
She faces a number of charges, including indecent exposure and depositing waste on a highway.
Sorry about that.
You hit the whip
That's
twice.
from the first story again. Doggone it.
Our view's going up or down right now.
They're actually at negative right
No
now.
pun intended, folks.
She said, "Oh crap." That was super funny. All right. John Fetterman's staffers are blasting the senator's mental health, but the politician is saying, "Nope, that's all crap."
That's crap.
Bombshell story in the New York Magazine features several concerning accusations about Fetterman's behavior, including not taking medicine prescribed after he spent time in mental health facility in 2023.
So they got to this point and they're like, is there something going on with him?
We think he might have a problem.
This is right now we're at like peak Fetterman.
Right.
Like he's doing better than he's done the entire time he's been in federal office.
Yeah. The reason this one is interesting is because it is his own staffers, current and former staffers.
Because he's not in lockstep with the Democrat Party. He still has some wildly leftist progressive thoughts. And
yes,
he's not a Republican.
Yeah.
He's just not a dyed-in-the-wool party sim.
You always ask, well, what's the motivation here? And I found this sentence in the article here from Daily Mail. It says, quite the opposite. The Intercept recently reported that Fetterman's campaign is bleeding money and losing small dollar donors ever since his meeting with Trump. So is there another motivation for the staffers going behind his back here? Maybe he's not progressive enough. Like
all of our comments in the YouTube chat are about poop.
Yep.
See, why are you doing that? I have, look, it's on me. A little error on my part that I continued to mess up and play the audio wrong.
How many times do you have to do it before it's not an error, Ryan?
Oh, we're past that. I can weigh in on that one.
These are purely accidents. I want my bosses to know that. I would never do
Did you vote for this? And I'm talking about the Trump administration. Anti-Fry YouTube channel, go vote. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
How bizarre.
Stop before you dig. Click or call 811. Every dig, every time.
Planting a tree, building a fence. Before you dig, contact Missouri 811. It's free, it's easy, and it's the law. Submit a locate request at Missouri-811.org or simply call 811 3 days before digging. Dig smart, dig safe.
Stop before you dig. Click or call 811. Every dig, every time.
It's the law. Sponsored by Missouri 811.
Experience the Beatles anew as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra presents Revolution, the music of the Beatles. The SLSO joins top vocalists and musicians to perform sweeping orchestral arrangements of more than 25 of the Beatles' top hits, like Here Comes the Sun, Hey Jude, and Let It Be. Revolution, the music of the Beatles, with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra, features stunning video, animation, and hundreds of unseen photos, bringing the band's enduring legacy to life. Saturday, May 17th at Steeple Theater. Tickets on sale now at slso.org.
So Mother's Day right around the corner. It is May 11th. That's a Sunday. Have you gotten mom something yet? I hope so. If you haven't, may I introduce you to the folks at the Diamond Shop. Located in Clayton, you are going to experience just what it's like to shop for fine jewelry, beautiful, wonderful things without extra pressure and stress. Unique things to what you're going to find there at the Diamond Shop. Right now, they have through the 10th, 40% off all in-stock jewelry. VIPs are going to get a free mom or love necklace with that $100 jewelry purchase with a limited supply through Mother's Day. So go find them in Clayton and get that gift taken care of. Make something memorable, priceless, just like she is for this Mother's Day. And if you spend that minimum $100 purchase, you're going to get a second gift. Maybe grandma gets something there. You see how this can go in your direction. Save you some money along the way. They are the best at the Diamond Shop. They're in Clayton. They're online at thediamondshop.net.
The Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is coming back to St. Louis on May 7th. Join us at Energizer Park for the round of 32 as St. Louis City SC hosts Union Omaha and plays for the historic trophy. Get tickets now at stlcitysc.com/Open Cup.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-million. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
She's fighting the president again in court. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Today, I am announcing a lawsuit to stop the most sweeping and unlawful assault on public health in our nation's history.
New York Attorney General Letitia James, as 19 states and D.C. challenge cuts to health and human services agencies as unconstitutional, arguing they violate federal law and congressional authority. In March, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced a restructuring plan that includes eliminating thousands of workers and consolidating divisions. Federal housing officials have accused James of mortgage fraud, sending a criminal referral to the Justice Department in what she considers a politically motivated move after her civil lawsuit last year accusing the then former president of business fraud. President Trump just making a sports-related announcement.
The 2027 NFL Draft, that's a big thing. Will be held right here in our nation's capital, Washington.
Alongside D.C.'s Democratic mayor and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell in the Oval Office.
The draft has really become one of the great entertainment and sports events. Just a week ago in Green Bay, we had over 600,000 people attend. The year before in Detroit, we had close to 800,000.
In D.C., the plan is to have the draft on the National Mall. Today's announcement just days after D.C. and the NFL unveiled an agreement to build a new stadium for the Washington Commanders as part of a larger development plan around the existing RFK campus. A deadly boating accident in high surf off San Diego's coast. The Coast Guard says 3 people were killed, 4 injured, and 9 are missing. They don't know yet where that 12-foot vessel was coming from when it flipped during early morning hours today. For now, the search for the missing continues. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kellwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a better offer. The brand new free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan for $35 a month. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Still dealing with a bit of a changeable sky, a mix of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. Any showers should stay just to our south, but it's cool, 64. Chilly tonight, 46 for the low, dropping into the 50s quickly this evening. Partly cloudy skies. Tuesday, sunshine, beautiful Tuesday afternoon, 73, but clouds and showers are back on Wednesday, 68. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches in my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said, I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple people recommended the Good Feet store to me, I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around this store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a good feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
If it's time for new windows, there's only one place to call. That is Window World. Mark Cox here. Call my friends at Window World at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate today. If you have any questions, they'll be glad to send someone out to explain all of it to you. You can even schedule right online at windowworldstl.com. You know, there's a lot of high-interest financing out there, but here's what Window World's doing. Right now, they're offering 18 up to 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. You can't beat that. You also get a lifetime warranty that covers all of the parts, the glass breakage, and labor. Who else stands behind their product like that? Over half the appointments Window World will set this year are from previous customers or referrals from those customers. That is a testimony to their customer service, their quality, and their commitment to creating loyal customers. That's what you get with Window World. Call them at 314-993-1800, windowworldstl.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Happy Monday, Cinco de Mayo. Does that mean something to you, Ryan?
It means the 5th of May.
Brad?
No, not much at all, actually.
I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again because it is Cinco de Mayo. My daughter was born on May 3rd, and that is because my dad was lobbying for Evelyn to be born on May 5th because he said it would be Cinco de Mayo. And I thought, that's fun. I got nothing wrong with May 5th. Cinco de Mayo is a fun day. But I was so worried that she would be born on May the 4th be with you that I said no, and we did the induction on May 3rd, and that's when she was born.
I don't know that that's a bad move.
I don't. Brad's the resident Star Wars. How would you I was going to say geek, but I don't mean it in a pejorative way. We're all nerds about something. That. Star Wars geek? Are you a Star Wars geek?
I'll take that.
There are levels to that. You know, like people would refer to me as a Disney geek, but there are levels. Like when people refer to Disney adults, I am absolutely a Disney adult to most people, but in the culture, I'm like,
oh, you don't cry when you see the castle.
I cry when I see my kid get emotional seeing the castle.
That's different
because it's about my child that I
that's not you
created and carried and brought into the world. No, when it comes to doing Disney World things, it's all about the people, the memories that I'm making with the people who are with me that make it special to me. It's just like a home base for special memories. And every time I go back, I'm thinking about the last time we were there and they were a little smaller. Like you can incrementalize all of the growths and the gains that your kids have made at something like that because, oh, now you can ride this ride, or now you remember when you rode this and you were scared. Now it's your favorite, so on and so forth. But the Star Wars thing, the May the 4th thing, I'm not in it, and I've learned to respect that people have their things, and if they're not my thing from the outside looking in, it looks like nerddom, but I certainly have my nerdery. does the May the 4th thing on May 4th bother you at all? Does it annoy you?
On a very, very surface level, yes.
It agitates me a little more than I even want it to.
Yeah, I don't like that it exists enough that I have to react, and the reaction is generally negative. But I don't care that much either. I kind of want it to go away, but then the minute it goes away, I'll be like, why'd we stop doing that? I kind of hated that. Maybe they should bring that back so I can keep hating it.
What is it? What is it that agitates you about it?
It's that if it was just about the real nerds doing their holiday, I'd say great. But it's so outside that now that everybody has to pretend like they're one of those nerds.
Oh, like Ender, who says, no, not Cinco de Mayo, Revenge of the 5th.
Ender isn't pretending, though.
Is that a Star Wars thing?
That is the Rebel Alliance logo, and then inside that is the Jedi logo.
Nerd alert.
Whoa. Yeah. See, if you dressed up, I'd say, well, that's your thing. But when everybody's doing it, I saw one person
raise your hand
yesterday.
if you own a Star Wars costume.
Gosh.
One hand in the room is raised.
Yeah.
Brad's.
Yeah, it's the same Star Wars costume as our governor.
Is it?
Yeah, that broke my heart seeing that picture. I was like, oh,
You should elaborate what that is.
I can never wear those again. JB Pritzker has Jedi robes, and they match the Jedi robes that my wife made for me. And JB Pritzker posted a picture of him and his wife, and he was dressed as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and she was dressed as Princess Leia with the little cinnamon buns on the side of her head. And my wife and I have a similar picture to that, and now I can't ever show anybody that again.
I want to get to our guest here in just a second. We saw some really good jobs numbers, and watching this president and this administration create jobs that aren't just public sector jobs, that's a huge deal. But we're also watching as they march towards trying to get the big, beautiful bill passed. Listen to Elise Stefanik talking about
House
that here.
Republicans' responsibility to deliver the hallmark of President Trump's agenda, where he won a historic popular vote. We know the stakes are incredibly high, and we are committed to getting this done. And this one big, beautiful bill, it includes so many important provisions: unleashing American energy independence, continuation of the historic Trump tax cuts, and also adding no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, as well as lifting the state and local tax, the SALT deduction, for high tax states like New York, where people are struggling to make ends meet. These are commitments President Trump and Republicans made, and we are committed to getting it done.
So we've been hearing somebody pushing very hard to get these tax cuts made permanent for quite some time. And that's the guy who helped make them possible in the first place. Steve Moore joins us once again, distinguished fellow in economics at the Heritage Foundation, Trump economic advisor, and author of the book, The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity Again. Steve, welcome back. Good to have you here.
Hi, Ronnie. Great to be with you.
How important is it to unleash prosperity again for this administration and Congress alike to make those Trump tax cuts permanent?
Well, it's critical. And I want to, again, I say this every week on your show, and I'm just going to repeat what I've always said, that if we don't get this done, failure is not an option. We'd be facing the biggest tax increase in the history of the United States, probably in the history of the world. You know, the average taxpayer there in the St. Louis area would be paying about $2,500 to $3,000 more in taxes at a time when people are already having a hard time paying their bills. So it makes no sense why we wouldn't. Why are Democrats against that? They want the biggest middle class tax increase in history. Apparently they do, because they all voted against extending the Trump tax cut. It's been a big victory. We've seen, big gains in the economy as a result of this. And so I don't really understand the argument against it. The only thing that Democrats have to say is it's tax cuts for the rich. But in fact, if you look at the share of taxes paid by the rich, they are now at an all-time high. So how is that a tax cut for the rich?
Yeah. You know, I have heard, too, a little scuttlebutt around the thought that maybe there would be a millionaire's tax thrown into the mix. Your thoughts on that?
Well, we never want to raise tax rates, right? That every time we've tried to have millionaire and billionaire taxes or increase the top tax rate for the last 100 years since we made the mistake of introducing the income tax in the first place, every time that's happened, whether it was under Herbert Hoover, whether it was under Franklin Roosevelt, whether it was under Nixon or Carter, every time that's happened, the economy has collapsed and the rich actually end up paying less tax. Now, the converse is also true. Remember the 1920s? I know you were there back then, Annie. But
just the 2020s.
Yeah, but that was the era of Warren Harding and Calvin Coolidge. We had they cut the top ready for this from top rate from 70% to 25%, and the federal tax revenues almost doubled. Then John F. Kennedy, a Democrat, I seem to recall, cut the top rate from 91% to 70%, and the economy boomed. And then, of course, Ronald Reagan came in. We cut the top tax rate from 70% all the way down to 28%, and the economy boomed. And then Trump cut the tax rates in 2017, and people forget if it hadn't been for COVID, because the economy was flying before COVID hit. So why don't we learn the lessons of history?
Well, politics, probably, Steve Moore. Politics. I saw you commenting on Fox Business about the jobs report that showed 436,000 more Americans are employed by the labor force.
Amazing.
What's the difference between a Trump administration job created and a Biden administration job created?
Well, that's a layup question. So under Biden, what kept happening is we kept seeing jobs created, but mostly in the government sector and sectors that were related to government, like healthcare and welfare services. Under Trump, what we have seen has been basically the opposite. We've created private sector jobs, which has been, that's where you want the jobs, in the private sector. When you've got an economy where you've got the government is losing $2 trillion a year, makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, to maybe trim back on some of those expenditures. So under Biden, we're growing jobs in all the wrong places. Under Trump. Now, it's only been 3 or 4 months, so it's a little too early to say for sure. But so far, it looks like most of these jobs are coming from the private sector of the economy.
Okay. Steve Moore speaking with us right now. He is Distinguished Fellow in Economics at the Heritage Foundation, as well as a Trump economic advisor. We know where you stand on tariffs. You're a free trade guy. We are midstream on the president's tariffs plan. Your thoughts on what we are seeing economically here on the home state here so far, and where this is going?
So far, it's been very turbulent. We saw a big stock markets, sell-off when these tariffs were announced back in late February and then in March. But boy, have you noticed what's happened the last couple of weeks, Annie, with the stock market?
Yeah.
I mean, it has had an explosion. So every time Trump announces that he's getting close to a trade deal, the market goes up. So I'm hopeful. I'm not a big tariff guy. I mean, I understand what Trump was trying to do, and I respect him for it. I think I would like to make the target China, because I don't know about you, but I think China is an enemy. I think they're the new evil empire, and we should get very tough with China. I don't understand why we're picking a fight with Canada, Mexico, and some of our friends. But that being said, if Trump can use American leverage to lower tariffs abroad, that's good for everybody. So we'll see how this turns out. I would never bet against Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people are doing right now, is trusting and hoping and waiting. One of the things that I've heard this administration say with the tariff implementation, if they're able to get some of the success that they're hoping to get, that people who make a certain amount of money, $150,000 a year or so, could eventually see their income tax go away. I guess that's going to be replaced by the External Revenue Service. Is this a realistic tease for the American people?
It could be. I mean, as I said earlier, I think Donald Trump and I agree entirely. One of the greatest mistakes we ever made as a nation was passing the 16th Amendment, which allowed an income tax. Prior to that, for those who know their history, for the first 125 years or so of our country, we did not have an income tax, and we did just fine. Then we introduced the income tax in the progressive era that's gone up and up and up. Did you know what the rate was on the first income tax?
No. What was it?
7%. 7.
And
they said, don't worry, it'll never go over 10%.
You've already walked us through that history.
And then 10 years later, they were right. It wasn't 10%, it was 70%. So they keep raising and raising and raising these tax rates. And of course, that hurts the economy. So I like the idea of not taxing people on income. Tax people on what they take out of the economy, that is what they consume, not what they put into the economy, their work, their saving, their investment, their job creation abilities, their entrepreneurship. So, I don't know if we can get all the way there, but I love the idea of reducing, Trump has this idea of reducing a federal income tax to 15%. And then making up with that with a maybe 15% tariff. I'm fine with that. I think that sounds like a great idea, Mr. President.
Steve Moore, real quick before we let you go,
Yeah.
there's part of this tariff thing that involves bringing manufacturing and production and business back to the United States. And I'm wondering the culture change, the culture effect that I feel like we might end up having here. I feel like my parents and grandparents grew up with a sense of pride in work, and that we have gotten away from that culturally here in the United States of America. If good jobs come back and creation and production comes back to the United States, do you see a culture shift at all in how we view the effort we put into the money that we make?
Oh, that's a really great question. And it's a really great point you're making. And it's something that a lot of people overlook, is that what you're saying, to summarize what you said, is there is virtue in work. And there is. Work is virtuous. Sitting at home and watching TV is not. And by the way, do you think people who sit home and watch TV all day are happy?
No, not with the television that they're watching. No.
Right. So, everybody needs a purpose in life, and work gives you a purpose, and it gives you a sense of accomplishment. And so I think the whole idea of paying people not to work through welfare, we're a rich country. We don't want people to go homeless, and we don't want people to go hungry. And obviously we can afford to, make sure that doesn't happen. But when we do that, and this is a good question because it's very related to the current budget debate, Republicans are just simply saying, if you're going to get these programs, if you're going to get welfare benefits, if you're going to get free health care, if you're going to get free food through food stamps and so on, you're going to have to work. You're going to have a job. And if you're not going to help yourself, the government's not going to help you. And I think that's the right thing. These are called work requirements. By the way, 80% of people, about 80% of the people listening to this show would agree with me. Mm-hmm. Yes, we want to help people. We don't want people to, suffer from deprivation, but also you have to help yourself. And so I love so Republicans aren't saying we're going to slash the programs. They're saying if you're going to get the programs, you've got to have a job or in a training program. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that seems so obvious and so simple. And it's great to have an administration that's willing to value that.
There you go.
Steve, thank you for the
Eddie,
time.
Great to be with you. Have a great week, my friend.
Bye-bye. Steve Moore, Distinguished Fellow in Economics at Heritage Foundation, Trump Economic Advisor. The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity. Again, if you want to see the blueprint of where this is headed right now with the Trump administration economically, you can look at Steve Moore, who has advised President Trump quite a bit along the economic path. And of course, he's never been the big tariff guy, but he does see the benefits of it if it were to work out. But I think it's nice to be in a position where within our own party, we can look at something as big of an issue as the economy and have varying different opinions on which direction to go and why to go that way, and to agree with certain things, to disagree. It's basically nuanced, which is really what life really is. It's not all, if Trump's doing it, it's 100% great. And anybody else who disagrees, then, to heck with them. That's not the way this is, and it can't possibly be when it comes to the economy. We have to have a lot of discussions. We have to be willing to have agreements across differing parties, and we have to be able to have disagreements within the party. And we like to highlight those here on the Annie Frey Show. Ryan Schmelz will be with us when we come back. Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill and White House correspondent Ryan Schmelz is going to join us. We're going to talk about the journey of that big, beautiful bill. Is it going to happen? How soon could it happen? We'll find out with Ryan Schmelz next.
Save yourself, world, serve its own needs. Listen to your heartbeat. Tell me with the rapture and the reverend and the right. You patriotic.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine.
Tammy Dittamore, along with Zach, Pat, Abby, and Trisha, they make up the Dittamore Group. And your journey into buying or selling a home is going to be guided with the best of the best at the Dittamore Group. These are the experts when it comes to helping you position your home for a top dollar sale, getting the most out of your house, making sure that you don't spend money improving something that you're not going to get back out of the home when you sell it, or making sure you do tweak things here and there in order to get competitive offers, to get asking price, maybe even above asking price, with the experts at the Dittamore Group, the number one team and the number one office in the Metro East, and they do serve both sides of the river. So call the team that I am excited to partner with, The Dittamore Group. 618-531-4652. 618-531-4652. The Dittamore Group is waiting to take your phone call. And it doesn't matter how far into this process you are. Maybe you've already listed with other people and you just need to get this going and get it done right. Or you've just been like, gosh, I wonder what we could get for our house. I wonder if we could downsize. I wonder if we could relocate. All those questions you can throw at the Dittamore Group, and they're going to help you, and you're going to be glad that you did. 618-531-4652, thedittamore.com.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
I love the way he articulates things together, examples with all his stage members up there at all different levels, which is wonderful to see and inspiring.
That's Orlando on his Expo experience. It's coming again. Join Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited for Expo 2025, May 7th through the 10th in Irving, Texas. Get hands-on training from successful real estate investors and learn proven strategies that work. Find out more and save $100 when you text Expo to 88007, EXPO to 88007.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Well, it seems it was just, I think just about a year ago, last May, when I was attacked by those cicadas. It was a planned attack. I just completely believe it. And I think a couple of them I guess a couple of them did get up into my brain, because I can still hear them making that noise. It's worse than a gnat. No, again, air conditioning. Mother's Day is coming up. So how about if you're in need of an air conditioner and you want to keep your better half nice and cool and everybody's tempers down in the heat and live in a comfortable environment without cicadas in your head like mine, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
I'll be your light, your match, your burning sun. I'll be the bright and black that's making you run, and we'll feel alright, and we'll feel.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Till the love runs out, till the love runs out. I'll I'll be a ghost. You gain your stadium. I'll be a 50,000 clapping like one. And I feel alright, and I feel alright, 'cause I worked it out. Yeah, I worked it out. I'll be doing this if you ever doubt, till the love runs out, till the love runs out. I got my mind made up and I can't let go. I'm killing every second till it saves my soul. I've been running.
Possibility of failure is one that no one wants to face. So I think at the end of the day, we'll get everybody together. We had a great meeting at the White House on Thursday, as the president indicated. We're working very carefully, Trey, to keep the coordination very close with the White House, with our Senate Republican colleagues, and with the House itself. I think that's going to be the magic that gets us through this.
All right, Speaker. First, you have to gain consensus within your conference. You got Medicaid, you have SALT. Are there other issues that aren't being talked about that you also have to work through, or are those the two main issues?
Well, those are big parts of it. And of course, the various components of the tax piece of this. And people say, why are you doing this all in one big, beautiful bill? Well, you know, to remind everyone, we're using the reconciliation process because the Democrats are in no mood to do anything for the country. You know, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in the Senate, and Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats in the House, they have no interest whatsoever in solving problems. So we have to do it ourselves. And you have to use the budget reconciliation process to do it. It avoids the 60-vote threshold in the Senate. So that's why all these various components of the bill are put together, complex pieces of the bill. But we're going to solve this equation, Trey. We have to. Now, here's the progress report. Good news. Over the last week, 7 of our 11 committees of jurisdiction got their pieces of that big, beautiful bill done. And so we have 4 committees yet to go. And then we push it back through the budget committee to merge it all together and send it to the Senate.
Representative Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, talking about the progress on the big, beautiful bill. You guys played that clip from Congressman Bost when I was in Washington, D.C., right?
Yeah.
He said that he goes, it's going to get passed. And he goes, it's going to be a nasty fight on the way. He said it's going to be absolutely nasty. It's kind of weird to go into that knowing it's going to be like that and know, like, we'll pass it. We'll get it done. We're going to smack each other around first.
This is actually the process I like. It's a weird thing to say. I've said it many times that I like when they fight, especially when it's over my money, because that ultimately this is all of our money and they're trying to figure out how to hopefully save more of it than spend it.
Well, let's talk to the man covering it there on Capitol Hill. The Fox News Radio Capitol Hill and White House correspondent Ryan Schmelz joins us once again. Ryan, you look good. Thanks for being with us this afternoon. What can you tell us? We heard a little bit from the speaker there about the progress that's being made. They say the big, beautiful bill is going to get passed. What happens between right now and the time where it gets passed and sent to the president?
Right now, they have to figure out how they get enough votes to pass it, because keep in mind, with only a slim majority that they have to work with, if they lose just 2 or 3 members, the bill gets sunk. So right now, they're trying to work out some agreements on Medicaid and some other programs like that, especially when it comes to getting the spending cuts that they're trying to get to. You know, they want $1.5 to $2 trillion. And I think the common consensus is the only way you're going to get there is if you reform some of these entitlement programs. So right now they're trying to work out how they can save money on Medicaid, whether it be expanding work requirements, whether it be some other ways in which they can find savings. They're trying to work that out and trying to do it in a way that doesn't cost the most vulnerable people any type of benefits, because that's also going to cost them votes on the House floor.
Can you give us some idea of who the most vocal Congress Congress people, I guess, are? Because, you know, obviously the speaker's out there and he's shepherding this thing through a very complicated job with this slim of a majority, probably a complicated job with even a bigger majority to get something this massive done. But who are the representatives right now on each side of this argument trying to come together to get a compromise that's workable?
Well, in terms of who's been probably the biggest critic of the whole process, it's probably Senator Josh Hawley. He's not involved in the House negotiations, but he has consistently casted doubt on Speaker Johnson and House Republicans about finding a way to reach that $800 billion mark without cutting essential services. So he has kind of casted a lot of doubt on the House, and we already know he's got a shaky relationship with Speaker Johnson as it is. So I think no matter what if they're able to get this out of the House or get it over to the Senate, he's going to be somebody who's going to be a major X factor in this whole thing. But I would look at any of the members from New York, New Jersey, California. Those Republicans are the ones to watch because they're also involved in the SALT discussions, which is the state and local tax deduction. That is something that really only impacts blue states like New York,
Illinois,
New Jersey, LA. Yeah, Illinois, exactly.
Yep.
So they're trying to find a way to make sure that SALT cap is extended or lifted in order to get them to yes. And that's not exactly something that red state Republicans are really excited about because it doesn't really impact their states the same way. But a lot of them you talk to, they kind of understand that that's going to have to be included if they're going to get some of these more moderate and some of these blue state Republicans to yes.
Oh, we love our blue state Republicans. Hey, Ryan, this is Ryan. How much does the House negotiate with the Senate in this process? Do they have a pretty open line of communication as they're putting their bill together? Is it like, no, we're going to do what we do and then you guys do what you do?
Sometimes it works that way. Other times they have no other choice but to negotiate together. You know, Lindsey Graham came to a big Republican meeting last week and was kind of talking about his, experience as the budget chair and how they're trying to work together. And Lindsey Graham came out of that pretty on board with the idea of expanding some of these work requirements for Medicaid and going through some of these other ways in which they could find savings. So Lindsey Graham certainly has been talking to House Republicans, but I think there still is that divide here and there amongst the House and the Senate, because I think the House kind of doesn't really trust the Senate when it comes to finding a way to get to this $1.5 to $2 trillion. I think there might be a little bit of a divide there.
We're speaking with Brian Schmelz. Of course, you hear him each week as the Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill, and White House correspondent here on the Annie Fry Show. Also, we hear him on the radio at the top of the hour quite often. We appreciate that you follow this so closely so we can lean on your expertise as to the process to get us to that big, beautiful bill. I've heard various dates be thrown out there. As we've said before, as long as they get the right deal done, this doesn't have to be passed until they just finish the year. Is that correct? This is all for what would take place after 2025. However, I've heard them say July 4th, maybe Memorial Day. What is a realistic expectation that the American people can have right now on when this thing could be completed?
So if you talk to House Speaker Mike Johnson, he's still pretty adamant about getting the House version of this bill done by Memorial Day. Leader Thune has been kind of using this idea of July 4th. Secretary Scott Bessent has kind of been eyeing July 4th as well. So I think July 4th is probably the realistic deadline for both the House and Senate to be done this. But like you just said, the real alarm clock doesn't really kick in until probably the end of December, because at the end of the year, that's when the Trump tax cuts expire, which is obviously what Republicans are trying to avoid from happening here, is allowing those tax cuts to expire.
How much? So the work of the people in Congress, the work of the House, the work of the Senate, how much of their time is sucked up by this, that if they were, for every day that goes by, every month that goes by, that they don't get to this thing that will run out of clock at the end of the year? How much time are they spending on this that could be spent on other things? Does this have to get done in order for them to pick up the mantle on other initiatives that they want to see get through with their slim majority?
Well, I think if you remember that soundbite that Speaker Johnson just played right there, it's very hard for them to pass anything because they're going to need 7 votes in the Senate for just about anything else. There are a couple things that they can pass without a 60-vote threshold. They can confirm cabinet nominees, which is what the Senate's spending a lot of its time doing right now and has done pretty much this entire Congress. They can pass rescissions packages that the White House will send to them, which are pretty much spending cuts or even codifications of some of the executive orders that DOJ has proposed out there. And then also, they pass a lot of bills in the House side, and a lot of it gets kind of hung up in the Senate because Senate floor time is very limited. But this is probably, I would say, their main priority right now is trying to get this one big, beautiful bill done. Now, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there is one thing they could be doing if they didn't have to worry about the one big, beautiful bill, and that's actually funding the government. President Trump just proposed his actual budget, which is the one that's going to fund the government starting in early October. They wanted to do the full-on appropriations process this Congress, which is passing 12 individual spending bills that would fund the entire government. Well, normally they start that process like October, November. We're now in May, and they haven't gotten to that process just yet. So they're on the clock with this one. And yes, when they're focusing on the reconciliation, the one big beautiful bill process, that's one extra day every single day that they could be focusing on getting the actual budget process done for fiscal year 2026.
Ryan, we keep hearing about that this is about getting the Trump agenda funded. What specifically is it that Trump either can't do now until they pass that, or that he will be able to once they do pass that bill?
Well, a lot of it is making those spending cuts into law. You know, they want $1.5 to $2 trillion in spending cuts. So a lot of the stuff, and I think Speaker Johnson alluded to this, you can't do without 60 votes in the Senate. Well, with the budget, with the one big beautiful bill, you only need 50 votes. So they're going to try to put as much in there as possible. And I think a lot of the big policy items that aren't being talked about as much, because a lot of the focus is on Medicaid and spending cuts and taxes, but a lot of the big focus is going to be, or a lot of the big policy victories potentially are in energy. There's going to be a lot of different energy bills that are probably put into this reconciliation package that probably just aren't getting that much attention. But when you talk about also the tax policy ideas, you know, whether it's no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, just some of the agenda items President Trump has thrown out there, you know, he's not going to be able to get 60 votes in the Senate on these as standalone bills. So when you clump it all together in the one big beautiful bill process, then you're able to pass all these things at one time. And yes, this might look like an omnibus, which a lot of Republicans have criticized over the years, but they really don't have any other option for passing legislation without a 60 vote threshold.
Well, Ryan Schmelz, we're grateful for you today. Thank you for being with us and walking us through the latest in the big, beautiful bill pursuit. The last question I have for you, I heard Trump in a soundbite, and I can't remember if I was listening to Fox News when I heard this or whatever. He said that he and I think Speaker Johnson were trying to come up with a name for this thing, and they were kind of landing somewhere around the idea of just calling it officially the big, beautiful bill. I was wondering if you had any thought, any news on that.
Well, yeah, I haven't heard that, but I will say this. Now that President Trump has proposed his actual budget, and we're also talking about the budget resolution, calling it one big beautiful bill has made this extremely easy to break down for people and to explain to people, because it could get a little confusing, especially when you're trying to separate the two. So knowing that there is an actual budget and then there is the one big beautiful bill does make it a little bit easier to explain.
Yeah, Ryan, you speak a different language than a lot of the American people who are funding these things speak, which is why we're so grateful that you're here with us. I try to ask some super basic questions, and that's for people like me who are like, wait, say that again? Explain that one more time. We're grateful for you, Ryan. Thank you for lending us your expertise. We're going to have you back next week, hopefully. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Sounds good, Annie. Thank you.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Ryan Schmelz, our friend on Capitol Hill. Always good to talk to him. Isn't it weird how complicated the process is? That it's go right over people's heads, and you start listening to the explanation of these things. You kind of go cross-eyed, and you're like, I'm going to do Wordle.
Yeah,
that's too bad.
It is too bad. And here's what's really bad. Is that those of us who cover this all the time, I mean, we talk about this stuff all the time. We talk with Ryan at least once a week, and there are still terms that I go, oh, omnibus, and I got to go real deep into the files to find, oh, what's that mean? And with you're in Congress, you know, I'm glad that you know what's going on, but the average person doesn't know what in the world you're doing, Congress.
It's just very it's so soupy. Like, you get into it and you think you grab a hold of something, but then all of a sudden it's not as simple as, hey, here's a thing on a piece of paper. Everybody in favor of this? Oh, the most of you are? Good. It passes the House, but we need a little bit more in the Senate. It's a higher threshold. Oh, unless you're doing reconciliation. How do you make it reconciliate? And then all of a sudden you just get into this cesspool where you're just like, I hope the people who I elected or helped elect know what they're doing. And then in the midst of decades of the separation of understanding of what the American people, the American voter understands, and the bureaucracy that exists, even come the change of potential people filling those elected positions. Now, all of a sudden, you're funding like some of the most wild Festivus Rand Paul list of things that we have now doged. It's like, the question is, how do you get to here? Well, that's how you get there.
What's not surprising to me is that Doge is finding this stuff. It's that I think still a year from now, they're going to keep finding that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's how much it's buried into all these different agencies.
Yeah. Well, what we need to do is make sure that people are being educated on this as they are going through school so that you understand how things work, and also so that you care about it. I've got a clip that you are not going to want to miss on the other side of this break from a teenage girl who gets her first paycheck. You're going to want to watch this on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. You're going to want to listen to it on 97.1 FM Talk. And if you do stop by the YouTube channel, come vote in our poll and tell us, did you vote for this? Yes, you voted for this. No, you didn't vote for Trump at all. No, you didn't vote for this because you voted for Trump, but you're not happy. Or no, you didn't vote for Trump, but you are happy. One, you got to fall in there somewhere, and you got to let us know why you voted the way you did on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
AirComfortService.com, your destination for heating, air conditioning, for things like maintenance, tune-ups, checkups. If something's not running right and it's your HVAC system, you need Air Comfort Service. And I'm going to give you this phone number that you should stick in your phone right now. God bless you if you don't need any sort of HVAC needs taken care of at this moment in time. These things tend to creep up on you, and then you're like, oh gosh, who do I call that's not going to take advantage of me in this situation? Well, the answer is Air Comfort Service, because they're good people. It's where I do business. I've been a customer of theirs for an air conditioner, for a furnace, for a water heater, for an AeroSeal duct sealing. I think that you can stick this number in your phone and use it with questions, with needs, with emergencies, and you're going to be glad that you had people who you can trust. 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. Another thing that they have available for you is an air purifier. And if you're somebody who's dealing with these spring-like ick tendencies where you're dealing with allergy systems, maybe you have pet dander in your home, bacteria, viruses, odors, and more, have a whole home air purifier installed in your house. Air Comfort Service can give you more details on how you can breathe easy in your comfort zone, both in temperature and air quality, with the help of Air Comfort Service. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Setting goals for your retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, listen to the All Financial Hour with Steve All, Saturday mornings at 6, here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
The YouTube live chat poll today is, did you vote for this? Yes. No, didn't vote for Trump. No, didn't vote for Trump. Not happy. And no, didn't vote for Trump, but I'm happy. Let us know which one you are out of those 4. It's the YouTube live chat poll. You find it by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube, and today's live stream and date will come up. You click on that. You comment. You can watch and listen to the show there too. 147. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Let's show our appreciation for local heroes. Mark Cox here. Nominate a first responder and their department could get lunch from Grill Master Tony's. I'll personally deliver it. Share their story at 971talk.com. Nominate them today.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
How many jobs did you have before you got a paycheck? Not like, okay, here's $20 or I officiated a lot of sports. A lot of that was in cash. My first job ever was a paycheck situation where I bussed tables at PK's in Edwardsville, used to be known as Pizza King. I think it was a gas station and it was a pizza place. And then it turned into kind of the fancy restaurant in Edwardsville when Edwardsville had 2 places to eat, maybe. And oh man, what I wouldn't do for a PK's pizza right now. They had the best pizza and salads.
Did they serve pizza when they were fancy?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah?
It was great.
Huh. Was it thin crust?
No. Do you remember Emo's thick crust?
No.
Gosh, I wish they'd bring that back. It was so good. It still would be considered thin crust pizza to people, I think. But like Emo's thin crust is, people refer to it as a cracker quite a bit.
Yeah.
It was like that. It was thicker. It wasn't like a Papa John's regular pizza or anything like that.
Was it floppy?
No.
Like a Brooklyn?
No.
I like those a lot too.
Oh, it was so good. I can taste it right now. But anyway.
Growing up in Collinsville, I heard about PK's quite a bit. I don't know that I ever ate there.
Oh, it was so good. It was, I don't know, growing up in the 80s, but mostly the 90s, the idea of what a fancy restaurant is compared to now.
Yeah.
Especially in like the Edwardsville area / O'Fallon, Illinois area, because they're just the same. They have all, like, if you own a restaurant in Edwardsville, you better open one up in O'Fallon. If you open up in a restaurant in O'Fallon, you're going to open one up in Edwardsville. It's just how it goes. But there's just so many options right now. But I remember getting my paycheck. I think I made $3.15 an hour as a busser. So it was supposed to be a tipped job too. So compensated with tips. I believe that minimum wage at the time was $5.15.
I remember making $5.15.
I think it was $5.15. I believe it was over $5. I don't know that I ever made, and I made lower than $4 an hour in that job at $3.15. But it was you're supposed to be compensated with tips as well. All of the servers were supposed to pool their tips at the end of the night, 10% of their tips. And then that would be split up for however many bussers were in there. I don't think that they did that. I have a lot of questions going back to whether, I mean, I would get like $10 at the end of the night and work my tail off bussing tables. But I remember getting my paycheck. I would get my paycheck at the end. I think we got paid weekly. It might've been every other week, but my paycheck was $20. I was also 16. And $20 when you're 16, a movie costs $3.50.
Yeah, I remember I did have a tip job, but I got $5.15. It was like the best of both worlds.
Is that golf course?
Yeah, golf course. Because you didn't.
How old were you when you started that?
16. I had a couple jobs to answer your question. Before that, though, the only one I remember that it was just like, here's a couple bucks for helping us, was rolling newspapers.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
And I did that for 2 days. I was horrible at it, and they did not want me there. So they paid me.
You didn't do well at that?
No, I was slow. There's people that get so fast at it that they were just, they're putting them in those sleeves.
Were you trying to like edit the paper while you were rolling it? Or
I was just
reading the
trying
funnies?
to get it into that plastic. And I was bad at it. And they would know this must be one that Ryan did, because it would be kind of like 75% of the way in.
Do you remember when you did your first job? Do you remember looking at the deductions in your paycheck?
Yeah, I think I do. Oddly, though, it's because people told me, get ready. You're going to see how much you actually have to give to the government. So I remember people telling me that. I don't remember what the numbers were.
Brad, what was your first paycheck job?
My first paycheck job was Dairy Queen in Freeburg. So it was me and a bunch of kids from
What'd you make?
Athens. $5.15 an hour. And I was in the kitchen area because I was a guy, and they kept the guys in the kitchen and the girls out front. And so there was no opportunity for tips. It was just what I made hourly.
Nobody got tipped at Dairy Queen.
No. Well, some people did, but it was a rarity.
But I mean, that's not a tipped job.
No.
I don't think they didn't put you in the kitchen so you wouldn't get tipped.
No, they put me in the kitchen so that I'm not sure why. That's just where the guys were. at
No,
that
I
place.
think would that have been the 90s? That would have been the 2000s, early 2000s.
Yeah. Well, mid 90s. Yeah, I was in high school, so yeah, graduated. In
That's
01.
like the type of stuff that happened where guys did this and girls did that, and it just was fine.
Yeah,
I would imagine
Yeah.
that girls were probably better at customer service. Is it bad to say this? I don't care if it's bad to say this, but girls are better at the friendly customer service thing. Maybe a little more at that age attentive to the cash register, and that guys are probably quicker in the back at working with hot equipment and making things happen back there. That doesn't mean that no girl could cook and that no guy could run the cash register. But if you were going to divide easily, that's the way it happened a lot. And you say that in 2025 and people are going to be like, oh.
Hey, I'll tell you what, guys, we could not work the beer cart. That is all girl job.
I worked the beer cart.
Did you?
Yeah, I worked it.
At a golf course?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that
It was
about
a cocktail waitress too.
you. How long was that?
I don't remember, but it was Sunset Hills Country Club.
I'm surprised that's never come up.
Banquet server, cocktail waitress. I would go cocktail while everybody would need to eat and smoke. And I made bank. And then they were like, we should pool our tips. And I'm like, we should not pool
I
our
do
tips.
remember that story.
Yeah. That didn't happen. Listen to this teenager. I think she's in Michigan. But this teenager, I'm going to play the video for you on the YouTube channel. You can listen to it here, of course, in 97.1 or in the Odyssey app. Listen to her as she gets her first paycheck.
I don't have Medicare, so why is Medicare taken out of my work hour check?
It's called taxes, boo-boo.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't have Medicare. You pay taxes for the things you buy. If I buy cheese, I buy $6 plus sales tax. I don't have Medicare, so I shouldn't have the tax on Medicare because I didn't buy that.
Cute.
Like social is $7. $7. That's more than a 12th of my workness.
What?
I only get 10 an hour. Oh no, I did the math wrong. What is the Michigan income? Why are you gonna tax me for making money? You're laughing, but I don't understand.
That's what a tax is.
So what was the point? That's income tax. Income means coming to me.
That means income that goes to you gets taxed.
So what was the point of giving it to me if you're just gonna take it out?
Because the government didn't give it to you, the company gave it to you.
And the government's like, this is mine.
Yeah.
But it's not there. $15 in taxes? $15 is a lot for a high schooler. $15 was taken from me just because? But we don't even have free health insurance here.
I know.
So what's the point? So this will come back to me later. That 185 will come back.
Not directly, but you have to pay into Medicare so that one day if you do need Medicare, then Medicare will cover you.
I need you to use Medicare so my money not going to waste.
I can't use Medicare.
Why not?
I don't qualify for
when
Medicare.
You're old, qualify for it so that you can get my 185.
Social Security is also for when you get old and you retire because you paid into Social Security.
I'll get that.
You're
back
supposed to
indirectly.
get that when you get old.
Like a 401k?
No. Every time you make money, you pay taxes.
Her face.
Then at the end of the year, you're going to file your
Oh,
taxes.
I'm getting it. Get it back.
No. Then the federal government is going to be like, well, where's ours?
Wow.
The audio is good. The video with her face, every time she's like, oh, you mean like a 401k? And then the mom again goes, no. And she's like, what?
Every single person who ever gets a job should have that conversation.
There's got to be something in our high school education, like where there should be some, like 1 hour of the day should be spent working. I think there's a school in Texas that does this, that actually has kids employed doing jobs that the community participates in. Like it could be like as simple as lunch or whatever it is, so that you make money, so that when you get to economics class, you can look at your paycheck and understand these things for real. Good for her. I mean, she's asking questions that to us is like, wow, she doesn't get this at all. But at least she's asking questions, and at least she's working in a job and getting to the place where she can pay attention to some of these things to understand how people far, far away from her are making decisions that affect exactly what number comes back to her. She goes, this is my income. This is money coming into me. And mom's like, federal government, gonna get theirs. And she's like, ugh. I love that girl. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate, paid for by Bayer.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is coming back to St. Louis on May 7th. Join us at Energizer Park for the round of 32 as St. Louis City SC hosts Union Omaha and plays for the historic trophy. Get tickets now at stlcitysc.com/Open Cup.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, May 20th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Bob and Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and worried about the market volatility and losses at this stage in your life? Would you like to learn why linking to the market is much safer than owning the market?
Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your market gains every year without having to sell? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any future losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, at the Frontenac Hilton on Tuesday, May 20th at 6:30 p.m. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
The president sends a message to migrants who entered the U.S. illegally. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. As the administration rolls out a new incentive for people to self-deport, offering to cover travel expenses and give them a $1,000 stipend.
It will give them a path to becoming, to coming back into the country.
The president says people who don't self-deport won't have the same potential path to return to the U.S. Tomorrow, President Trump has a first meeting with Canada's prime minister, who's been critical of Trump calls for Canada to become the 51st state and of Trump tariffs.
I'm not sure what he wants to see me about, but I guess he wants to make a deal. Everybody does. They all want to make a deal because we have something that they all want.
This as the governors of 6 Northeast states invite provincial leaders from Canada to discuss tariff impacts. The president's comments coming during an Oval Office event where he announced the 2027 NFL draft will be held in Washington, D.C., also telling reporters the U.S. will help get food to Palestinians in Gaza. He did not comment directly on a reported vote by Israel's cabinet to expand its operations in Gaza to seize all of the Strip. Meantime, Israel's military just confirming airstrikes on Houthi rebels in Yemen after the Iranian-backed Houthis hit Israel's main airport with a missile, injuring several people. 19 states and D.C. are suing the Trump administration over cuts to health and human services.
We are asking the court to halt the unlawful dismantling of HHS, to stop the mass firings, and to restore the life-saving programs that millions of Americans depend on.
New York Attorney General Letitia James, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced a plan to restructure and consolidate agencies in March. The U.S. Army pausing flights around the Pentagon for investigation after 2 flights were diverted by Reagan National Airport last week when an Army helicopter on a training mission was told to make another loop before landing. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kellwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a better offer. The brand new free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. For $35 a month, you get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Still dealing with a bit of a changeable sky, a mix of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. Any showers should stay just to our south, but it's cool, 64. Chilly tonight, 46 for the low, dropping into the 50s quickly this evening. Partly cloudy skies. Tuesday, sunshine, beautiful Tuesday afternoon, 73, but clouds and showers are back on Wednesday, 68. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
A lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, this is my last hope. The next step is getting them in the right arch supports. Our goal is to have that long-term change for them, to see someone that is in pain, I change things for them. See how we can help you with a free fitting at the Good Feet store.
This Memorial Day weekend, bring your crew to Busch Stadium to see the Cardinals take on the D-backs. May 23rd to the 25th, catch great promotions all weekend long, including a Mason Win bobblehead and a Kid City Connect jersey giveaway. Kick off your summer with ballpark hot dogs, ice-cold beers, and entertainment for the whole family. Tickets are available at Cardinals.com. This is how summer is meant to be. See you at the ballpark.
This is Alec Burleson, St. Louis Cardinals, for the Lou.
Hey parents, looking for something fun and unforgettable to do with the kids? Bring the whole family to a Cardinals game at Busch Stadium. From kid-friendly activities and giveaways to awesome promotions like Kids Run the Bases. Your little ones will have a blast, and so will you. Check out Family Sundays, presented by Smithfield, where select tickets include a free jumbo hot dog and soda. There's nothing like sharing the magic of Cardinals baseball together. Make your memories this summer at Busch Stadium. Tickets are available at Cardinals.com.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
Springboard to Learning provides enriching learning experiences for students in grades pre-K through 12, offering a diverse range of arts-integrated programming designed to foster passionate and engaged learners. Their signature program, The Art of Baseball, teaches students to analyze and interpret data as they discover the connections between art, baseball, statistics, and the world of business. Check out their work on display at the Together Credit Union Plaza at Ballpark Village on May 20th, or visit their website at springboardstl.org. This nonprofit highlight is brought to you by Together Credit Union.
If you're looking for the best eye care in St. Louis, look no further than the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. Make your appointment today at youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
At Progressive, we're making things even easier. We'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
So, as I understand it, the period of mourning, is this right, is over for the Pope. The official period and the conclave begins like now or very soon. Any Catholic experts in the room?
No. Brad?
I was only a Catholic until 7th grade.
Yeah, you outrank us.
So tell us.
I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
Well, here's what I do know about the Catholics. Donald Trump posted a meme about being a pope.
I also know that.
And I don't get to have an opinion I can't be offended by that because I am not Catholic myself. The Pope thing I'm watching as a news story, not as a personal connection to my Christian faith. But he definitely is continuing to get talked about it. And I want to discuss from the political angle of people, the three of us here who are certainly people of faith. We are Christians, just not of the Catholic denomination. We're going to discuss this here. But today, this is my favorite part about the way President Trump does media. He creates all these events all over the place. And then the media, he welcomes them in. And then the people who are there for said event have to endure the media asking questions that have to do with completely different things. For instance, just visually speaking, in the background of this clip that I'm about to play, in the background is Roger Goodell.
Some Catholics were not so happy about the image of you looking like the Pope.
Oh, I see. You mean they can't take a joke? You don't mean the Catholics. You mean the fake news media. Not the Catholics loved it. I had nothing to do with it. Somebody made up a picture of me dressed like the Pope, and they put it out on the internet. That's not me that did it. I have no idea where it came from. Maybe it was AI, but I know nothing about it. I just saw it last evening. Actually, my wife thought it was cute. She said, "Isn't that nice?" Actually, I would not be able to be married, though. That would be a lot. I'd have to the best of my knowledge, popes aren't big on getting married, are they? Not that we know of. No. I think it's a fake.
Just pausing, that little murmur you hear in the background is the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell. Anyway,
news media that they're fakers.
My question, though, sir, was about the fact that it was put out on the White House account, even though it was AI generated, it was a joke, it was a meme. Does it at all diminish the substance of the official White House account to have it go out on?
Oh, give me a break. It was just somebody did it in fun. It's fine. Have to have a little fun, don't you? Yeah, please go ahead.
So now I'm again observing this as a Jesus-loving Christian who is not Catholic. So I'm not in a position to assess the respect or disrespect levied towards Catholics. But as I say that, I'm also like, same goes for all these lunatics who are trying to say that somehow Donald Trump is throwing this out in a great this image, this AI image. I like how it's AI. Oh, you didn't really dress up and pose for that photo? Holy crap! Stop the presses. Now that particular picture wasn't actually a real posed. Put this on the president's schedule for an hour to manifest this image. The people who are lobbing these criticisms and insults at President Trump, and again, this is part of where today's YouTube live chat poll comes from. Did you vote for this? It shows image of Donald Trump as the Pope.
I didn't know that was the this.
Yeah, well, this is this. It's whatever you want it to be.
This is anything.
It's whatever you need it to be. And the question that keeps getting thrown out, did you vote for this? It's always from lefties who take conservative policies that the president is enacting that he promised that he would do, and they're just showing us that he did that thing he said he was going to do that they can't believe is something that somebody would want to actually have happen. But we're all like, yeah, we voted for that. Yes, this is what I voted for. So they try to take something out of the world with which they do not live. The Catholic understanding of faith, salvation, religion, and I'm putting this at the end of the list, morality, all that type of stuff. They are diving in the deep end of a pool that they've never swam in before to shake their fists at the people who are also in that same pool to try to call them hypocrites, when the people who voted against Donald Trump and voted for Kamala Harris voted for the most, I'll just say, anti-Christian or lowercase c Catholic things that you could possibly imagine. There are things that are attached to the Democrat Party, but particularly the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden wing of the party that are evil. Unequivocally, undeniably evil things in the eyes of a Christian individual. But you're like, he used an AI picture of him as the Pope. Did you vote for this? Right?
You should do the rest of the show like that.
I can't. I'm gonna punch myself in the face.
I was glad to hear. So those comments, because you're saying Roger Goodell was there, that was from today.
Yes, that was like during our show.
Yeah, it had to be. I'm actually glad to hear that, because first time I've heard him address the Pope as Trump controversy. Those were the best comments he could have possibly made about that.
He goes, take a joke.
That's great. Thank you for clarifying.
Welcome back to the First Amendment part of this country.
Because when I saw that, I'll tell you, my initial reaction was, oh, great, here we go.
You couldn't help yourself, could you?
Because that's the kind of stuff that just sets people off. And here's the thing. I'm not a Catholic, but I could see how you would look at that and say, oh, you're putting yourself in a position of authority over the church now, huh? I didn't take it like that, but I knew that's what was going to be said.
I don't think that anybody would take seriously the idea of Donald Trump wanting to put himself in a position of authority over the church. I think they all wish he'd take the church a little more seriously. There's no way that anybody can look at him in that. What does a pope wear? It's not a costume.
Papal pontiff.
He's just throwing all the stuff out there that he knows.
In the garb of the Pope.
That's
and
right.
I mean, like the takeaway there is that he was mocking the Pope. But he's not Catholic, first and foremost. So he's probably not qualified. Are you okay?
Yeah, I got caught.
Make you laugh a little bit.
Got a little lockjaw there.
Huge yawn. If he's making a mockery of the Catholic Church, like, how can the religious right wingers in this country support a man who would mock their church? I'm just here to tell you that the Catholics who voted for Donald Trump in this last election did not vote for him for his theological input. Brad?
Yeah, I can agree with that 100%. Also, the conclave starts on Wednesday, just so that everybody's clear.
Is that when we start to see the smoke?
Well, yeah, that's
Okay.
when they decide by smoke. But
Mark
like
Cox just sent me a meme that says, it's official. The new Pope is orange, with the orange smoke coming out.
That was a funny meme.
Mark,
That's the other thing
Mark,
about this.
You're part of the problem, and it's very, very funny.
This thing produced a lot of funny memes outside of that.
But here's the thing: like this is all this selective outrage blows my mind because it doesn't really blow my mind because I'm used to it by now. But they're like, can you believe Donald Trump posted a meme of himself as the Pope? And then they're also the ones celebrating 2024's Conclave movie, where the Conclave actually elects a transgender Pope. And they're like, this is brave and beautiful and bold.
Have you seen the Hollywood Bowl is going to have a live production of Jesus Christ Superstar, and the woman who played the Green Witch in Wizard of Oz is going to be Jesus?
No, I haven't seen this.
And Adam Lambert of American Idol / Queen. I think he became the front.
Yeah.
Is that Freddie Mercury?
He went with toured.
He's incredibly talented. He can sing. I watched that season. I was an active watcher of American Idol during that season, and he is incredibly talented. He's going to be Judas to her. What's her name?
The witch?
Yeah.
I don't remember. From Wicked, right?
Yes.
No, I don't remember her name.
She's going to be Jesus. I hate every bit of it.
It's so stupid.
I've never seen Jesus Christ Superstar either,
It's so
though.
phony, rebellious. Like, how much more let's go actually, instead of just like chomping at the edges, let's just go right at Christianity. Let's just do it all the way.
So here's a question. Think about this for a second. This is what I did the Trump thing. Think about this for a second. I pointed at you to grab your
You're doing the
attention.
accordion hands too. There you go.
Can you hear it, guys? How is when I hesitate to say things on the air, my rule is don't say it, but here we go. How is Donald Trump posting an AI picture of him as the Pope any different than the woman from Wicked playing Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar?
How is it? It seems very different.
I just think they're both mocking things, but the left is going to celebrate. They are going to put on a pedestal that version of, the person who is supposed to be, first, second, third commandment, respected above all other things in God is what I could make the case. And I think we might have already done that here, that casting that woman whose name I wish I knew, the witch from Wicked, casting her as Jesus Christ is an absolute intended mockery of the person at the epicenter of the Christ Christian faith.
Cynthia Erivo?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is an absolute mockery of who Jesus Christ is to the people who celebrate him and worship him as the central figure to our faith. That is more egregiously offensive than Donald Trump's social media manager posting an AI image of him. And I'm not making any comments about the Pope, but in my world, Jesus outranks the Pope in the same way that he outranks everybody.
This seems a lot to me like the club mentality thing, where the best example is if you're in your family and your family kind of jokes with each other and you make fun of each other, that's fine in your family. But if somebody from outside of your family comes in and makes fun of your son or daughter,
you're saying that the Catholics are in the family of the conservatives and the Republicans.
I'm really not even casting on that. I'm just saying that if you view Donald Trump as part of the group of people who are defending Christianity, whether you're Catholic or not, but let's say you are Catholic, you might look at that and go, maybe not thing I would do, but the actions speak louder than words. That's part of Trump. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the way you'd view it. Whereas there's not the people representing Jesus in that stage production, they're not Christians. Donald Trump does claim to be a Christian, so that changes things too. But
I don't know if we know that those individuals don't claim to be Christians, but they certainly aren't using that. There any attachment that I'm just saying that the possibility exists that they could identify as Christians. That does not precede their role as Jesus Christ.
But I think no matter which side they're on, let's say they openly said, look, I'm only doing this because I'm a Christian. They're not saying that, but let's say they are. You still as a Christian would go, no, you're not. I'm a Christian. I'm in the club or whatever. I'm in the family. We don't do that. So even if you were on the inside of the club with me, you'd know we don't do that. So no matter which angle you come at it, they're messing up. And so there's very much the club mentality on both of these things of where do you identify Donald Trump as part of your club or not? Because if you're part of the Democrats, you're going to say, oh, this is offensive.
Think about, what was her name?
Cynthia Erivo.
I always want to, Octavia Dotel is who I keep thinking, but she's the woman from The Help.
I know the name.
I think she,
isn't that much more.
Octavia Dotel?
No, is that a baseball player?
That's a baseball player.
Gosh, Octavia.
That's right. Yeah,
Octavia,
he was a closer.
He played for us.
Yes, he recently passed away.
Octavia Spencer.
Sure. I don't know The Help either.
Hey guys, in the 2:00 hour, let's talk about things we don't know.
I'm gonna start
I'll go
in
first.
Octavia. See what comes out first. Octavia Spencer.
Yes.
American actress.
Octavia Dotel.
Very good job. Octavia Dotel. Octavia Spencer was the Cardinals closer, right? A couple of years.
I pray to God somebody who played with him sends him this clip. No, I want to know.
You do want to hear.
No. Anyway, what I was going to say is, in The Passion of the Christ, you have somebody who portrays Jesus. That was a movie produced by and directed by Mel Gibson. He is known for his faith. He's known for being a sinner too, that's for sure. But he is a faith-first, faith-forward kind of person. He wanted to create that movie in the way that he created that movie because of his faith. So he went out and got people to portray as close to biblically sound as he could possibly get it, which apparently he's creating the sequel to that. That's about the story. So you get people to come in and tell the story. He wants the story to be reached by people. when you have the Wicked Witch from the West, whose name is
Octavia
Cynthia Arrivo.
It's just an O. The O is tripping me up.
Cynthia Dotel.
When you have Octavia Dotel out there,
Greg Jeffries
portraying themselves as Jesus Christ. Greg Jeffries. Oh man. That's the story. The story isn't about the story. The story is about, did you see the shock value? Did you see who they got to play Jesus Christ in this performance? I mean, that to me is a true mockery, maybe even blasphemous. I don't know. I'd have to look into it a little bit more compared to the outrage that is being levied towards Donald Trump for portraying himself as the Pope through a social media manager. They're trying to drive a wedge between the Catholics and the Trump administration, and it's just not going to work. Not like this, at least. All right, quick break. When we come back, the YouTube live chat poll, we'll discuss this in here. You'll find out if we feel like this is what we voted for. We're asking you on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, did you vote for this? Yes. No, you didn't vote for Trump. No, you voted for Trump, but you're not happy. Or lastly, no, you didn't vote for Trump, but he's not doing too bad. Annie Fry YouTube channel. The live broadcast is up right now, and the live chat is where you'll find the live chat poll. We'll be right back.
It's killing to see this way. This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
ArtisticDecks.net. That's the website for the deck of your dream, built on your home so that your living space can be outside with the chirping birds, the nice warm breeze across your face. This is what you've been dreaming of, and now it can be made onto your house affordably this summer. 314-280-0821. 314-280-0821. That's the number to call. They are insured. You can ask about their over 500 square foot discount. If you are looking to build a deck in your near future and you want to get it done this year, you need Artistic Decks. Free design and consultation. They can handle the permitting process. This is smooth sailing for you with an expert customizable deck to your needs. And you just need to give them a phone call right now to get yourself in line. They've been in business for over 2 decades. 314-280-0821. 314-280-0821. You can find them online at artisticdecks.net.
St. Louis homeowners, are you thinking about upsizing, downsizing, or relocating this year? Hey, it's Mark Cox. When life happens and you need to sell your home, I recommend you talk to my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria understands every seller situation is unique. That's why she has created custom programs to fit every home seller's needs. Many people move out of necessity, like for a new job or financial challenges. That's why Gloria created her guaranteed multiple cash offer program, giving you up to 6 of the best offers with at least one at 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference. Plus, you sell faster. Gloria did this for the Miller family in Clayton and got them more money than they were expecting and within their time frame. She did it for them. She can do it for you. Get your offers today by calling Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-355-8282. That's 800-355-8282. Again, that's 800-355-8282.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the preferred partner plan and be ready for the first heat wave. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's kind of hard to
Annie, that was Phil.
interrupt Phil Collins.
Now Phil's gone.
The best song, he gone. He did enough. It takes forever to make an intro, and he's like, "I'm finished here."
Like, what? Man, gotta start singing, man.
Have you seen those? Have you seen the memes on the internet with that song where it's like people walking and that song's playing, and then like right when he hits the the drum line thing that people like crash into trash cans or something like that. So like the actual drums that you hear is the sound of people like they're like running down and all of a sudden they trip and then they fall into something and make a bunch of noise. And it's just it's so funny.
I like really bad physical comedy. Like if they don't think that they're actually being funny, but they're doing it anyway.
Do you like to watch fail videos where people fall and hurt themselves?
Man, I used to, back when the internet was new, Fail Blog. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was the peak entertainment.
You like that?
It was great, but you just get lost in it, and then you feel bad.
Do you enjoy I mean, that's like you'll come across compilations of people tripping and falling or doing like people doing stupid stunts. You know it's going to go bad. Then it goes bad. Do you like watching that stuff?
Anymore, I'm like, oh man, you might break a hip doing that.
Do you like watching that stuff, Brad?
I don't like when they get hurt, but I do like the slapstick.
What do you mean they all get hurt?
No, I don't like the hurt ones.
What do you mean by hurt? Like hurt?
Like
or just you fell down?
Like I don't mind if somebody like, slapstick, they fall into a bunch of bushes or something like that. And then, but I don't like whenever like the person falls in the bushes and they come out and their arms aimed the wrong way.
Yeah, that's gross.
I don't like that sort of thing. So I don't like when they get like seriously injured, but yeah, I will laugh at you if you fail.
I hate all of it. I hate it. I can't get away from
anytime anybody fails or just when they get hurt.
Well, what do you mean by fails? Like I'm talking about physical calamity.
Well, I'm talking about Fail Blog. So everything that was on Fail Blog.
Like skaters, bikers, people swinging on a rope swing into a cliff and they run into the other cliff or something like that. No, I don't want to see any of that ever. Oh, a board hits somebody in the face. Not you, stooges.
The more cartoonish it gets, the funnier it is.
Not if it's real.
As long as the person like falls 20 stories and just bounces off the concrete. I'm like, hey, that was funny.
Boing sound.
It hurts my stomach.
Not bounces not like they die. I mean, they just
20 stories and then they get up
like
and walk
a cartoon.
away.
Yeah, just like a cartoon.
Oh man, missed that.
Whoa, yeah, they just get up, brush themselves off. That's funny.
I don't get it. There very much so could be a gender delineation here.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
This was a question that I have not heard.
What does that say?
Don't worry about it. I haven't heard
Let's
anybody
talk
ask
about
this
that.
question.
We're simple creatures.
For years. This is probably a 10-year-old question, but
X's
people
and
would
Y's.
ask it all the time. Do you like watching surgery?
No!
I hated it. I hate watching surgery, but I know a lot of people really enjoy the art of surgery in a sense.
Are you watching Pimple Popper?
No, I don't.
If you see one that pops up in your feed, are you going to watch
I
it?
might stick it out. If they give 30 seconds, I might do it.
Brad?
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Disgusting.
I think I've said
Like,
before,
whoa.
a friend of mine, the guy's from St. Louis.
Doesn't Ethan DVR it or something?
Does he? I
Yeah.
don't know. He was going to have to answer that.
He makes edits and
But
posts.
that show is basically made here because a buddy of mine was the executive producer of Dr. Pimple Popper. So he would edit it. He actually moved back to here from LA.
To afford it?
Yes, actually. And you can do everything online now. So during COVID, he moved back. Dr. Pimple Popper was made right here in the Midwest. Proud, very proud.
Foul.
Yeah, it is. Can you imagine the smell?
Oh
I shouldn't have asked that question. I shouldn't have asked that question.
There's no mic over there where she's standing right
Is my
now. You
audio
have to
still up?
talk. You're good.
Okay.
To be able to poop on a car like that was impressive, but it was disgusting at the same sense.
Stop it. Come on. You go ruin your weekend show, not mine.
I'm not going to play that stuff on the weekend. I have class. This is the 2:00 hour. You want me to play another one? Do you want me to?
No.
You know what? We actually, speaking of smells, we had a song about that. Do you remember that?
No, and I don't. Don't you dare. I will be certifiably angry at you. Yeah, I'm not even. Look at my face. Look at my face right now.
I'm not going to look at your face.
Ryan Wiggins.
I believe you.
Ryan.
I already believe you. I don't want to see what's in your eyes or your heart right now.
I would like to tell you.
He's like, I'd like to keep my face from melting, please.
Yeah. We're having a very, very fine show. This has been a great show. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg was in the first hour. Ryan Schmelz, Steve Moore in the second hour. Now we're here in the third hour. And I'm not going to play the smell.
No, you dare.
I'm not.
Don't.
I'm telling you right now, I won't.
I don't believe you at all.
If you want me to secretly do it,
Don't.
put it in the private chat.
No, I don't.
I didn't know if I'm making sure this isn't an
Do
act.
you see my eyes right
I
now?
do. I believe you, though. I believe you. I'm not going to play it because I'm scared of you. But it does exist. I just wanted you to know that it's out there. If you needed like bump music out.
We've got Phil Collins. We're fine.
Oh, do we? Okay. Just making sure.
Really setting the tone. Isn't that about somebody dying?
I don't know. Is that song about somebody dying?
Uh-huh.
Phil Collins? That
Yeah,
song
didn't
is?
he actually? Isn't the lore that he actually witnessed somebody kill somebody and he wrote this song about it and invited him to the concert?
Well, I found him in the show or something like that.
Is it a murder?
That's the lore. I don't know how accurate that is.
Or an accidental death?
This whole hour is about things that we're not too sure about.
That song is about Octavia Spencer.
Don't you dare do anything that you're going to regret.
I'm not doing anything right now.
I will go find Steve.
Look. I just want to take the show
Don't.
higher. See, it's just above the fray. That's all I'm looking for. That's all. It's just the chorus.
I actually have chest tightness right now.
I'm not going to do
I'm
it.
having a heart attack, Brad.
Man, you wouldn't believe how much
me get
stuff
my
I've got
nitro.
in this folder now.
You don't
from
need
years.
to just play your iPod on the air.
Oh, but it would be so fun.
Shelly says, "Get him, Annie," and I quote, "Todd."
No, I was playing.
We can
something
break
else,
now.
man.
Let's
I
break
had
now. No,
something.
no, no, no,
I had
no,
some-
no,
I
no,
got
no.
something,
No.
but Brad turned me
No,
down.
I know. It's because Brad cares about the future of the show, and maybe even you, the future of you. It's kind of hard to tell.
Well, I'll just leave it playing just in case he changes his mind.
Do you know how you can tell? I'm fidgeting. I fidget when I'm trying to to internalize my emotion and not externalize it on you. I remember. I'm gonna Google this song and see if that's just a legend or if there's any truth to it. I remember hearing at some point in my life that he witnessed something like this, and then he invited that person who was responsible for it to his concert and sat him in the front of the concert and like played the song for him.
I'm looking it up right now.
All right. Well, we'll do some research in the break. And I was going to transition to the YouTube live chat poll here, but there's really just no professional way to make that happen. So you go to the Andy Fry YouTube live chat poll and vote and tell us, did you vote for this? Let us know what you think. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup Tournament is coming back to St. Louis. Join us on May 7th at Energizer Park for the round of 32 and watch St. Louis City SC battle Union Omaha to kick off our run for America's most historic trophy. Get tickets at stlcitysc.com/Open Cup and help the boys in red bring home an 11th U.S. Open Cup to our city.
This could be the #1 tax saving strategy for your retirement savings, and it's hidden inside IRS tax code section 1.408A-4. Discover what it is and how you can make your money go further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. Hey, it's Sue Thomas, and this is a one-night class. It's taught by advisors from financial and tax architects. They have decades of financial planning experience, and they hold these at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis, and you'll learn about reducing your taxes, maximizing Social Security, paying for health care, and more. And they do it for free, but bring 3 canned goods for St. Louis Crisis Nursery. There are a few openings left for classes this month, so register now by calling 314-947-2012, 314-947-2012. That's 314-947-2012.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Stick around. Coming up next, it's more of what you just heard. And also the YouTube live chat poll. Did you vote for this? Yes or no. Didn't vote for Trump. No. Voted Trump, not happy. Or no, didn't vote Trump, but I'm happy. There are 4 different versions. It's a lot easier to read them. Just find the Annie Fry Show on YouTube by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube. You'll find today's date. 2:40 this time check. I mean, you can just make it 2:48, can't we?
No.
2:40.
The whole point is to tell them what time it is. That's the whole point. Try again.
2:55. This
No,
time
it is
check
not.
is sponsored by
It's
Jerry Kelly
2:40.
Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
I'm so excited to be talking to you about Barry Door and Window. Now, that's the website, barrydoorandwindow.com. And the number to call them directly, 314-423-DOOR. 314-423-DOOR. If you are in the market for doors, windows, including garage doors, I have the people for you. Customization is so important when you have a dream for the way your home looks. Let me talk to you specifically if you have maybe one of those old historic homes here in the St. Louis bi-state region, and there's a specific look, and you've put off replacing the window frames and the windows and possibly the doors because you don't want to lose the heritage of that home. You are in luck. Barry Door and Window is there to provide you limitless customization options, and they make these doors right here in Chesterfield. I walked through their factory. I met the people who are actually putting the paint on the doors and assembling the doors and delivering them to you into your home, a customization like nobody else. The design options are endless at Barry Door and Window, and they provide you the most beautiful top quality doors, front doors, screen doors, entry doors. They have everything that you need and all of the details right there online for you at their website. First of all, if you want to call them directly, 314-423-DOOR, 314-423-DOOR, online at barrydoorandwindow.com.
You're as perfect as you've ever been, and that sweater you've been living in. Can you see it? 'Cause I see it. This is the Annie Fry Show. Windows down, going 85. I look over and catch your eye. Can you feel it? The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Blood when you go this fast, when you're up against it, I got your back. They say that good things just don't last, but I'll say this. Every little fork in the road, never feel my hand letting go. If I did, you know I'm running back. You and me, we got a love like two names on a tree. Sure as every breath that you breathe. Every beat is like a heart attack.
You like the song?
Not really.
Why are you bopping?
It's got a good beat.
So you like the song?
Not really.
I love this
Kind
song.
of girly.
Are there? Do you enjoy like a really good pop song? A pop song that is A+ in the pop department, is a popular song. Do you permit yourself to enjoy that song?
Oh, absolutely.
You're okay with that. You're not like nose near too good to like pop if it's done the way pop's supposed to be.
This
done.
weekend, I was in a store and I heard, it's like that, like kind of sexual song by Ellie Goulding. I can't remember the name. It was in the 50 Shades of Grey movie. And I was like, dang it, if I don't like this song. That's a pretty good song.
What? And then a wonderful description of your weekend.
Ellie Goulding. What's the name of that song? Love Me Like You Do. I was like, dang, it's pretty good. It's a little hot too. And I was just walking through some junk store, killing time in between rain soccer games with my son. I'm like, I can't be thinking about that. Anyway,
Jackie says you can make anything weird, right?
I like it so much. I went home and looked up best of Ellie Goulding CDs.
See if there are anything
just
else.
to see if they exist, and they don't. They make you buy all 4 of her full-length albums. I was like, boo. Not doing that crap.
YouTube live chat poll. Did you vote for this? Ethan, help. Get in here. Sit down.
Doctor's in.
Doctor's in. How many of us have seen people posting, not ironically, like, did you vote for this? Because there's the people on our side of the aisle are like, I voted for this. But have you seen, Brad, people actually asking that question?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Usually it's a retweet from somebody on our side of the aisle, but it's just a retweet. And it's like, blah, blah, blah. Trump has deporting people to a foreign country to put them in prison. Did you vote for this? Yes.
Are the people who are saying unironically, did you vote for this? Are they more lefties or are they more never Trump righties?
Most of the people I see are lefties, but I guess I don't know, would the like a Bill Kristol be a never Trump righty, or is he officially a lefty now?
He's relevant because he was a never Trump righty.
Yes, accurate.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. Gonna let it burn, 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 burn.
Ethan said to me something last week, something like he can't even believe you're a real person.
I'll admit this.
It's like, I don't even believe that I get to work with this guy.
I am kind of a caricature of a human being.
Fascinating.
I'm not sure if my emotions are real ever. I think they might just be for entertainment.
Right.
Like if I'm super sad, I'm like, oh, this is probably good. We'll just use that.
Have you seen people say, did you vote for this unironically? Like trying to force people to like confess your vote for Trump. You did this. And we're like, yeah, we did.
But in the same way as Brad has, where it's somebody usually retweeting somebody on the left saying, look at what you're getting now. You really getting your just desserts now. And everybody's like, yes, this is exactly what we were hoping for.
Was confirmed as Department of Defense. Did you vote for this? Yes.
What I said at the beginning of the show was that, to me, the Pete Hegseth hang up that a lot of people have, I don't think that the left winning the Pete Hegseth battle affects the voting at all. Doesn't it seem more like it's an ideological problem that people have, that, we like this kind of war interest in the United States, and Pete Hegseth is threatening something.
The powers that be aren't going after it's what it looks like anyway. They're not going after Pete Hegseth because they're like, oh, we could influence public opinion on this. It's that they're trying to protect the system that exists, and he seems like a threat from the outside of that system.
Ethan, do you have any thoughts on this question? Did you vote for this? Have you ever seen that in your social media? I'm sure.
I imagine I probably have.
We haven't really talked about much today what your social media is probably filled with. 1.6 seconds.
It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts, Annie.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I was sad when I woke up this morning.
I was too. I the first thing I did this morning was check Twitter, and I was immediately reminded that we were supposed to be the nightmare, and then the nightmare occurred to us.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah, not a pretty
Talking
scenario.
about the Blues.
Yeah, giving up a 2-goal lead in the final 2 minutes, and that final goal coming with 1.6 seconds remaining. So yeah, pretty painful. But no, I have seen this posted in a sarcastic manner.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can't think of any specific cases
where
it has been, but I think it just goes to show you right now in America how polar opposite each side of the aisle is, because everything that I'm seeing them repost that with is like, yeah, pretty much just about everything.
We're 14 votes shy of 300 votes, which is a good total for us on the show. So if you haven't voted yet, come to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and you can vote in the live chat portion of the current live broadcast. Answer the question, Ryan. Did you vote for this?
As you know, I was a Harris supporter, so I was a no. I did not vote for Trump.
That explains so much.
It does. Actually puts the rest of the show in a lot of good context.
It really does.
Go on.
But I'm happy. I just didn't know what we were going to get with Trump, having seen him in office for 4 years. So I was like, I don't know. I'm going to go with the known entity of the vice president. And but I like what Trump's doing. All the crazier stuff, the better.
You really like the movie tariff?
Also, I just want to point out, because I don't think anybody else has in the entirety of the history of St. Louis, that Elton John wrote songs both about the Blues and the Jets. Did you realize that? I guess that's why they call it the Blues and Betty and the Jets. Anyway,
he
back
predicted
to the poll.
it basically.
Yeah.
What do you eat for breakfast?
I didn't.
Sugar?
No, I didn't eat any breakfast.
Do you need sugar?
I do. I had a Laffy Taffy at 2.
Yeah, give me sugar.
But that's it. I've been drinking water, I'm trying to be healthy, but it's hurting my performance.
Do you hear how he's talking?
Yeah, like a hyper child that is actually in withdrawals.
He's talking like a 6th grader who's had their first overnight 6-pack of Mountain Dew. Get a little Code Red going on in there, and things are gonna get wild.
It was funny until you mentioned Code Red. Code Red's really good. It's not really a joke.
You take it pretty seriously, I see.
I do. All the variations of Mountain Dew.
Diet?
No, not the diet. But the Sweet Lightning.
The sugar.
Yeah. The
Code
sugar.
Red,
Really sugar.
Code Blue, Code
yeah.
Green.
Brad, did you vote for this?
Yeah, I did. I like
Unlike
everything that I'm seeing.
Ryan.
Yeah, this is
I'm pleasantly surprised.
Every time I can't help but chuckle when people are like, "Did you vote for this?" And it's like, "Yes, absolutely. Yes, I love this. This is exactly what I voted for." Like, I remember my first vote for Trump as president was like, well, he is the biggest rock that I can stick in the cogs of Washington, D.C., and it'll stop things from happening the way it's always been happened. Now he's reshaping the way things are going in Washington, D.C., and I couldn't be happier about it.
Ethan, do you want to answer this poll? I've been trying to get eye contact with you to.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Confirm.
Yes, I'm a yes.
Yes, you're a yes.
By the way, you're doing it right. Do not make eye contact with her during the show. Last segment, she almost destroyed me just for the power of her eye contact. I didn't look at her.
I did hear
like
some threatening going on.
Watch yourself.
Reflection in the shield.
I did hear some threatening going on, and then I heard you say that you're scared of her.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear what led up to that moment?
So he was threatening to play something.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? What was it?
Mm-mm.
Was it the music?
Don't go there.
Was it Creed?
Do you just want to know what it was?
No. Hey.
Are you scared again?
Look in my eyes.
I'm not scared because I'm not looking at her. I'm looking at you, and you're laughing.
How's that? Is that better?
We're having a good time over here.
I think we're having a great time over here. Oh, she's looking at me now. I looked at her.
This show is a conversation.
Yeah,
what do you want me to do?
You got 4 minutes. You got 4 minutes to go.
The problem is I'm playing stuff right now, but Brad doesn't have it playing. Oh wait, there we go.
Is this what's going on in your head while you walk around?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
What is this?
This is Finger Guns Guy.
Here, let's just play this instead.
Take the keys away from him. Get the keys. I like how it goes. Oh!
That's because it's dubstep. You got to come in big.
How much fun would we not be having if Donald Trump wouldn't have won the election? We wouldn't be doing this.
It'd be cloudy all the time.
Yeah.
It would be.
Like I said, I was pleasantly surprised with the way the president's been operating. And I think we would have been under a authoritarian one-party control system had Harris won. So no, not a lot of fun.
Did you vote for this? I'll tell you what I think. Yes, of course, I voted for this. And it just shows that the people on the left that are trying to bubble this stuff up to the surface, but even more so the people on the right who are trying to do the I told you so stuff. They're trying to bring what the president is doing and saying, we told you this was going to be bad. We told you he was going to do X, Y, and Z. And we're like, we knew he was going to do this. This is why we voted. We live in such different realities that I don't really know, short of some sort of catastrophic event that I pray never actually happens, how you get people to live in a mutually agreed upon reality. We don't. I used to say a lot of times the difference between Republicans and Democrats was not that we couldn't look at something and say that's a problem. I feel like we traditionally always agreed on what the problems were. We just ran in very fast-paced opposite directions on how to solve said problem. If you're a Democrat, you run to government and say we need to create and pay for with the taxpayer dollar a solution to this problem. And if you're a conservative, especially fiscal conservative in government, you see said problem and you say to yourself very quickly, how do we get government out of the way to resolve this problem? The solutions that are coming from the left, I see nobody making any sort of argument for a moderate version of what government can do for you. They suggest that their opponent in Donald Trump is a dictator who wants to, it's funny because dictators would generally want more government and more control over the messaging. The left, when we learn and peel apart this onion and find out all of the layers of control and manipulation that the Biden administration had specifically on messaging, specifically in conjunction with social media platforms and what was allowed to be said and how it was allowed to be said and what happened to people if they dare cross the line. You know, we talked earlier in this hour about Catholics. The idea that the Biden administration designated Catholics as domestic terrorists. I mean, that's something that really actually happened. And we're supposed to sit here now in this world and be like, are you kidding me? Donald Trump made a picture post of him as the Pope. I can't support him anymore. Like nobody is looking at that going, well, this changes everything.
Well, you don't have to like either one of them, but the problem is the person that's yelling the loudest about the Pope picture is also the person that would not have mentioned classifying Catholics as domestic terrorists at all. They're the same people.
Are you ready to give the results, Ethan?
I am. And let me just say, we got to 311 votes. So good job, chat. Good job, everyone listening. We appreciate you participating today in the YouTube live chat poll, which asks, did you vote for this? And this is kind of funny. The final percentage adds up to 101%. So I'm not, maybe they're rounding or something, but
maybe
that tripped me out for 0.5.
On YouTube threw a 1% in there, yeah.
Yeah, so 91% say yes, an overwhelming majority. And then 4% say no, they didn't vote for Trump. 5% say no, they voted for Trump, but they're not happy. And 1% say no, they didn't vote for Trump, but they are happy.
Ryan always picks the least populous one to screw around with.
Ryan?
Yeah, I do.
So 91% of our 311 votes of our listeners right now said, yeah, this is what I voted for.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a pretty resounding confirmation of what the president's been doing. And we're 3 out of 4 in here.
Yeah, and I'm coming around. If I had voted Trump, I would have been a yes.
Confess. Confess. Thank you for being with us here today. The Mark Reardon Show is going to take over from here. A reminder, if you ever want to catch the Annie Fry Show podcast or any particular interviews that we did, the Odyssey app is a great way to do that. AUDACY, download it, find 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app, and you can keep streaming 97.1 24 hours a day. And the AnnieFryShow.com website, you can check podcasts out there. You can contact the show and more. AnnieFryShow.com, the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Next.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at Triton Exteriors. Not sure if you've noticed, but the storms seem to be especially bad this spring. If you had James Hardy Smart Siding, you wouldn't have to worry about it. It's not going to be damaged like in the 314-day storm. So we do roofing, siding, gutters, fences. We're always going to be the middle bid. We're never going to cut corners. We're never going to take advantage of you. Call 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Cordell & Cordell, a partner